Coming up on this episode of Bro, Do You Even Talk Pinball? We've got the reveal of John Wick Pinball, Funhouse Remake, ABBA, and a new segment called WTF is American Pinball Thinking. All that and more coming right up.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right.
And now, the Hall & Oates of pinball podcasting, Nick Lane and Kevin Manny of Buffalo Pinball. Whoa, boom shakalaka!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 85 of Bro, Do You Even Talk Pinball? I'm Kevin. That's Nick.
How's it going, guys? Sorry, it's been a hot minute. I mean, I think the last podcast was in March, but life gets in the way. So here we are, and a lot has happened. I'm excited to catch up with everybody and what's going on in pinball. We've got a lot to talk about.
We do. Yeah, that's the good part of not doing this for a month is like, oh, there's actually a whole bunch of news to talk about, and we don't have to try to make
to manufacture bullshit. Yeah,
to fill time and outrage and.
Oh, we got all that because that's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
but
Nick will always have his outrage, but
there's no way not to have outrage in this hobby because things are outrageous, right? I mean,
exactly.
that's kind of how it works.
Amazing.
Not like I want to outrage. If something's outrageous, and how do you not acknowledge it?
Fair. All right, so let's kick it off by thanking our partners. Nick, take it away.
Yeah, happy to do so. Can you put it on the screen for me, Kev? I can't see the your
I can't
screen.
because I can't share my screen. So you're gonna have to...
All right, I see the delay. All right, so
Yep.
All right, shout out to Pin Stadium and Flippin' Out Pinball. They're our premier partners, and coincidentally, they've got the giveaways this month. So get those entries in if you're watching live on Twitch. But Pin Stadium lighting kit for your pinball machines. For whatever reason, even though pinball machines have a ton of lights in them these days, they're darker than ever, especially Stern games. So highly recommend the Pin Stadium Neo Atoms from Pin Stadium. Works with an app, iOS, Android control. You could take 10% off when you use coupon code Buffalo, so get that discount. Grab it. Thanks to Pin Stadium. Kevin, what are we giving away from Pin Stadium, by the way, while we're talking about them?
We're giving away this set of Pin Stadium Neo Atoms, nearly $400 value. So everybody watching in Twitch chat, type #win, and you'll get into win those. We'll give it away at the end of this show, along with two other things coming up from Flippin' Out Pinball, which we'll show.
Thanks to Scott at Pin Stadium. I mean, Scott is almost every month he gives away a $400 set of these. So just absolutely remarkable. Good guy, great for the hobby. And then speaking of good guys and great for the hobby, we've got our other premier partner, Flippin' Out Pinball. As they say, as Dr. Ben Crane once said, once you go Zach, you never go back. That is where I buy all my pinball machines from. No question about it. Zach will take care of you. He's best service in the industry. He even sells American Pinball Barbecue Game if for some reason that you kind of had a stroke and you want that game for some reason. He will sell it to you. He will ask you, are you serious? Do you really want this game? Are you under duress? But he will sell it to you. So check out Zach Flippin' Out Pinball. And what does Zach got for giveaways, Kevin?
Zach has a official Jaws pinball banner, Stern Pinball Jaws, looking good. That's about $125 value. And then if you want to take your beautiful pinball machine and cover it up so you can't see it, he's got the officially licensed Stern Pinball glass / dust cover. Unconfirmed if it leaves a bunch of stuff on the glass like the pin shields, but you can try it and let us know.
Don't blame Zach, blame Stern.
That's a good
good so, and if you do end up seeing those guys at a show or buying for them, thank them for being a sponsor of Buffalo Pinball. They go the extra mile to help out the stream and make it happen every month. So thank you to those guys. And quick shout out to our other just as important partners. We got Comet Pinball, longstanding partner. That's for pinball lights. You want to add LEDs, you want to change things up, you want to add spotlights in your game. That's Comet Pinball. It's Titan Pinball. Of course, they're silicone rings. And I when I have to replace the pinballs in my pinball machine, I always get it from Titan Pinball. They're always high quality. The pinballs are good. They're not scuffed up, scratched. So complete confidence in them. Then we got a newer sponsor, Playfield Protectors. I love Playfield Protectors for any classic game I own, and I highly recommend it. It makes the games play better because it's a smooth surface, obviously, on classic games. They kind of the light inserts kind of divot, and it will protect it from additional wear. You want to protect those games. Also, pinside.com, great place to just go and have Second Amendment debates and say how you hate a certain state or not. It's just basically you could pretend you're morally superior to other people while also showcasing that you're a lunatic yourself. Pinside is a great place for that. And last but not least, Multimorphic. They've got their newest game coming out, Princess Bride.
Yep.
Which will be streaming soon.
Yep. It'll be party time at my house when that shows up. So thanks, everybody. Yeah, don't forget, #win. We'll get you in. We had chat wanted to confirm that it was working. And let me just show you. Look. 26 total entries. A quick reminder, if you're seeing, well, it says 26 entries, but there's only 19 unique entries. That's because if you subscribe to us on Twitch, you get double the chances of winning. So you get 2x entries if you're a Twitch subscriber. So here's the thing. I know we're not streaming as much anymore, but you can still get that Amazon Prime sub. So you give us the Amazon Prime sub, then enter, and you'll get 2 entries. You know,
you got to do that every month, unfortunately.
Yeah. But they make it hard, but you know that's an easy way to double your entries and still support the stream. So thanks, y'all. In the meantime, let's talk about some news.
Yeah,
Here's the
shout
tip.
out to Marco
It's the latest
Poe.
pinball
He said
news.
he's
So
purchased
hot,
from all those
it's on
sponsors.
fire.
Oh, sorry, Kev.
That's okay. We did. It's so hot, it's on fire. All right, you go.
No, I just want to shout out to, sorry to interrupt that. Shout out to Marco Poe. He said he bought from all of the sponsors and he just subscribed with Prime. So he's great call to action. Good job. I appreciate it.
That's how you do it. Thanks, everybody. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with the latest pinball news, and kicking it off is the big guy Stern. They announced their brand new John Wick pinball machine. Let me give you the rundown. It is the Pro is $7,000. The Premium is $9,700, and the limited edition is $13,000. Game mechanics or game design is by Elliot Eisman. This is his first pinball machine design. Mechanics by Robert Blakeman. Software by Tim Sexton. Art by Randy Martinez. You may remember him from Mando, right? He did Mando and Stern Star Wars comic book edition, I believe. And then music by Charlie Benetante. He's the drummer from Anthrax and Pantera. They also have like movie sound and stuff. I don't know. I haven't heard much of it, but that's what I know. And what are your thoughts so far on what we've seen of John Wick?
Oh boy.
Here, I can share what's going on. Yeah.
I think I'll start off by saying that this is a theme that appeals to me. I've seen all 3 movies. I haven't seen the 4th one yet. I own it. I just got to get around to watching it. Somehow that movie's 3 hours, and even though it's like the same thing over and over again, but it's still awesome.
It is very much. I don't know if I've seen 4, but I think I watched the first 3, and you're right. It's like, if you want to see a bunch of people getting killed, that's basically the movie, right? And we're getting revenge for his dog, yeah.
I think like a movie like John Wick, which when I saw the first John Wick, it was not on my radar, and I watched and I was really impressed by it. Like, they're all great fun movies. I think these movies they're kind of like gun porn and violence porn. I probably just got demonetized for saying the P word, but sorry, I can't keep up with the algorithm.
You can say guns, but not porn.
Yeah, insane. I probably said both at the same time, which is
it's like the double whammy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll go. But I think these are like musicals for men because they're choreographed fighting, instead of like dancing. You've got them dancing with guns and shooting people, and there's music always playing. But yeah, they're fun. They're fun guy movies, I would say. But yeah, this appealed to me because I like the movies. I liked that Stern was making kind of a more quote unquote adult game. I mean, he goes on a kind of this murderous rampage, and who doesn't like Keanu Reeves, right? So a lot of things line up. Music in the movies are good. So I was like, okay, this is a theme that I can get behind. And for better or for worse, and I think this is for the better, most of the themes that come out like from any manufacturer don't really naturally appeal to me. Like, so when I look at a game, if the game is good, I'll get it, irregardless of the theme. And I like that because a lot of times people have an emotional attachment to a theme and they just want the game, whether it's good or not. They buy it They hope the game's good, and if the game is kind of mediocre, they'll try to back into justifying why the game's good. This is a game, though, that I really want to be good. So I care about this theme maybe more than any other game that comes out. And also, I'm really sick of, like, I know the comic book games are just a negative turn off for me, so I'm glad we've got something more adult. All right. Kevin, that's my initial kind of. We'll dive into this more as we kind of go through the aspects of the game. But what's your take or opinion on John Wick as a theme?
Yeah, like I said, I watched the movies. They were never. I was never like, oh, that's amazing. If a pinball machine comes out, I'm definitely buying that. But it's also not a negative in my mind. You know, it's like I enjoyed it enough. If the pinball machine's good, I'll enjoy it. You know, it won't like detract from my enjoyment of the game because it's a theme I don't like or something. So it's pretty neutral to me theme. I think it's a good fit for a pinball machine. You know, action movies kind of lend themselves naturally to a pinball machine because there's lots of action going on. You can kind of equate what's happening in an action movie with a lot of what's happening on the playfield. So I think a lot of that kind of like checks the boxes for like, oh yeah, this is a good theme. And I also like that it's modern too, because Stern does occasionally mix in these modern themes. So, you know, you'll get stuff from the 60s like Batman or Monsters or the Beatles. And then occasionally you'll get a Stranger Things or well, I guess most of the Marvel. Well, Marvel's kind of like new and old. You know, Marvel's been around forever, but it's modern, popular in more modern times. But and then you get stuff like this from John Wick, which is you know, a nice departure from the Marvel themes that they tend to lean really heavily into. And I'm a Marvel fan, but there is a point of exhaustion with like, okay, we've seen that, you know, and there's talk that another theme coming up might be X-Men 97, which is like we already did X-Men. I like X-Men 97. It's fine, but it's like, okay, that's enough. It's enough. But they probably sell well, so that's why they keep doing them, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So there's a bit of a controversy with this game that, you know, we can't really have a podcast and not talk about it a little bit. So the way that Stern does their reveals, for better or for worse, I think I see the pros and cons of this is that they kind of draw it out over the week. So they'll start on Monday with maybe like a teaser trailer, and then on Tuesday they'll show kind of like a gameplay trailer, and then they'll show like maybe throughout the week like more maybe flyers or features, and culminating on Friday where they'll do a gameplay stream, and the gameplay stream we got at the premium. And what ended up happening, if you're not paying attention and you're not on Pinside, which might be a good thing in this case, is that when they showed the play field of this game, there were no guns on the playfield art or the cabinet whatsoever. And if you're familiar with John Wick, like I said before, this is like gun P word. Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, this is like and it's really, to be honest, it's really cool. Like, I don't know, Kev, if you ever saw the video of Keanu Reeves when he's doing like the gun course training.
No, I haven't.
You should look up that video, or anybody hasn't. Like, he's legit, like, knows his way around a firearm. He goes kind of through like a gun course, like swapping the guns, running through and shooting the targets. Like, it's very impressive what he can do. So, you know, but when I think of John Wick, obviously, you know, John Wick can use anything as a weapon, but I think guns. Go look up any movie poster for John Wick, and one movie poster is even just aiming the gun right at the viewer, right? Or he's got a gun in his hand. So people kind of, and I think kind of rightfully so, lost their mind when they saw and became concerned when they saw the playfield and cabinet and there was 0 guns on it. It was very bizarre. Like, the main picture of John Wick in the center of it is him with a nunchuck, and it's just like, what? It looks like the Bruce Lee pose for like, exactly. It was very weird. So somehow you can have knives and nunchucks, other things to bludgeon, kill. And by the way, I'd rather be shot by a gun than beaten to death with a nunchuck or stabbed to death. Like, it just seems more merciful. But it's not on there at all. So, you know, the Pinside thread devolved into an absolute mess. It got into like a Second Amendment debate, and both people seemed like lunatic. Like, there were some like lunatics on both sides of it. But I am very much supportive of the folks who were kind of passionately upset about that and concerned, because this is all we really know about the game so far. When Stern's goal by showing this is to get people hyped up for it. And if you really, the reason that you do a themed game is because people have an emotional attachment to a licensed property. And then you look at this property, and the main thing that you think of is John Wick and guns, and there's no guns. You're just like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, if they can't get that right, like, it's just really bizarre. If they can't get that right, then what else did they butcher or get wrong in this game, right? So I get that sentiment. And what's frustrating in that thread is that a lot of people gave those people a hard time. And it's like, dude, just think of any game. Maybe you don't like John Wick, but just think of any game or your dream theme and imagine something when it's revealed is fundamentally missing from that game. It doesn't matter if you're pro guns or not guns. Just discard that. Imagine that something from your dream theme is missing. And I think you can understand why those people would be upset or concerned. That's all I'm saying. Now, this turned out to, it's not a nothing thing. So we could talk about what happened. There are plenty of guns in the video and in the LCD, but then it becomes really confusing. Why on the LCD is John Wick, they have like 40 minutes of the movie footage. Why is that okay, but not on the playfield? It's really weird. And also think about this too. Art is very important in a pinball machine to various degrees to different people, right? Like, some people just love how a pinball machine looks and they'll buy it on the theme and the art. So if you get that wrong, it can hurt you a little bit. I'm not saying that that's for me. I'm disappointed that there's not guns. It's not going to prevent me from buying the game, but I understand somebody else's opinion. Kevin, before I go on, I mean, we could talk about later. George Gomez appeared on Flippin' Out's podcast and he talked about this, and we'll dive into the reasons and understanding. But what is your, like, when you were reading about this and looking at this, what was your impression or take on it?
There's a couple of things that come to mind. First is, like, it always seems like when a new pinball machine gets revealed, there has to be like something that everybody freaks the shit out about. Like, when you were talking about dream themes missing something, you think of like Jurassic Park. Oh, it doesn't have the movie assets. I really love the movie. And again, it's a fair critique, but that it still ended up being a great game and people ended up really loving it, right? I think especially with the current market the way it is, it feels like people are looking for excuses not to like a game because, when games were coming out and they held their value, it's like, all right, I'll buy it and I can sell it and maybe make a little money or at least get my money back. So I'm not going to freak out. But now that it's the secondary market has been tanking, it just feels like along with that, there's been a resistance to new pinball machines more. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of the impression I get. And the other thing is just like, it's like, just everybody relax, everybody chill. It was weird that they would, like, Stern had to know, like, there were no guns in this art. That was not, like, coincidental. You wouldn't put a whole John Wick art package together and not have guns in there and be like, oh, I was surprised that people had a negative reaction that there were no guns in this. Yeah, so maybe you would get ahead of that and kind of queue up some of the video footage of him and say, like, yeah, look, the guns are in there. They're not on the art for whatever reason. If it's a licensor thing, that's what George Gomez ended up kind of getting into, whether you want to believe him or not. But yeah, the guns are in there. They're just not on the art for whoever knows what reason, right?
Yeah, so Chris Pintern, I guess he's taking issue with my comment, but he quotes, understandably lost their mind about this as an interesting take for grown people claiming things like, quote unquote, agenda pushers are trying to take their guns away. Look, like, there was lunatic takes on both sides of that. I expressly said I'm not interested in the Second Amendment debate. I'm talking specifically about the people who, John Wick is a theme that really appealed to them, and it puts in question how that theme was handled, right? Like, I understand that. That's not like, I that will have no bearing on whether I buy their game or not. I'm actually interested in this game, right? But I can understand another person's opinion even when I'm not fully on board with it. And I think that so many people in those threads just fail to understand somebody else's opinion. And doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you can understand where they're coming from. And again, like there's just unhinged lunatic takes on both sides of it. That's just embarrassing, and an embarrassing amount of time that people had spent on both sides of that just arguing over it is just I don't know, man. It's betterhelp.com or whatever. It needs to jump in and sponsor Pinside, because it's just crazy. I think, but one of the worst takes that I see popping up once in a while is people on there saying that you're not allowed to have an opinion. That is the craziest thing too. Even crazier than like the conspiracy theorist who says Stern has an agenda. It's like, you can't have an opinion, dude. It's a hype thread. Of course you can have it. It's unhinged as your opinion is. You can have that. Okay,
it's art.
That's
you're supposed to have an opinion about art.
Yeah, you're supposed to discuss it. That's when like Stern's intention is to get that out there. You have discussion. Hopefully you're hyped. It wasn't a good reveal, and George Gomez later talked about it, and he said that Stern was surprised that Lionsgate didn't allow them to have the guns on it. Like they were surprised. However, they proceeded to make the game still, and that they were surprised by Pinside outrage because they had kind of forgotten all about it as they were making the game. So I think Stern could have mitigated that if they at least, I can't remember the trailer, if they showed the LCD more and John Wick clips of him shooting people like left and right. I think that would have been mitigated a little bit, but I understand why the first impression of this game for people who are looking at the theme and wondering if it got butchered were disappointed. So the explanation that George gave, and I really like George Gomez. I mean, he comes across great on podcasts and he's passionate, is Lionsgate, the way they look at it is it's like they classify like pinball as a video game. It's like unrated, right? Like, how games are rated like mature and stuff. Like, I guess pinball machines aren't, so they have to kind of just go with like this PG thing visually, because if it's out in the middle of the public, somebody sees it and somehow they see it. I mean, the logic is so stupid, right? Like, just to bear with me, this is the explanation. But like, if they can't have a gun on there, somehow they can have knives and nunchucks, which is stupid. So it's so violence, right? Like, okay, whatever. But they can have the gun on the LCD because somebody then is consciously choosing to put money and play the game, versus they're not like the game's just out in the public. They see this game and they see a gun on there, and they're kind of not choosing to see it. It's really weird. I mean, like I also think of like, well, didn't Lionsgate have movie posters in movie theaters where, some kid's going to see some G-rated movie and he sees John Wick with a gun? It makes no sense. But
no, it really doesn't.
This is the world we live in. And does Stern get criticism for maybe not being better at the negotiations when it comes to a license and saying, look, this is John Wick, here's our market, this is very important? I mean, it really should be on, if you're our family arcade operator and you're buying John Wick, maybe don't put that in your arcade, but most of these people are going to be home buyers or going to a bar with adults. Like, it's really silly when you think about it. But anyways, maybe that's the criticism that should fall on Stern, just to be better negotiating. George Gomez said that they actually have walked away. I don't know if you heard this interview, but he said he's actually walked away from a license before. They were going to do the Hunger Games, I guess, and the licensing was so restrictive that they just abandoned the game.
Yeah.
So, it's got to be a real pain to deal with licensors, especially when it's just sort of like very illogical to us when we look at it. So again, I understand why. I mean, Stern was surprised by it, right? They were surprised. I understand why people who are really interested in the game, and not the ones that are conspiracy theorists or just lost their mind, but looked at it and said, what the heck's going on, right? So that was the debate. I saved everybody a lot of time and headache from looking at that unhinged Pinside thread, but there we are, Kevin. We can kind of proceed with our impressions of the actual gameplay and everything else in it.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen is like, over the next few months, people are just going to forget all about it, and then you'll just get into playing the game, and is the game good? And if you want guns, they're in the artwork, and you're going to be able to buy plenty of little 3D printed guns to put all over your John Wick, I'm sure. So don't worry, the mod market will take care of you, as it always does. But yeah, let's talk about our impression of the playfield and things like that. What was your overall like first impression of how it looks and the shots? It's our first design from this new designer, Elliot Eisman. What do you think of his first take on a playfield?
Yeah, so there was my first impression was there's nothing really interesting, right? It's a fan layout. I always look at a pin. It's like, okay, what differentiates this pin from any other pin? And sometimes you just want to look for something that, that's like interesting, like what Jaws has done with that little mini flipper in the side shot, right? Like that was kind of interesting. So it's fan layout. You've got like also this area, pop bumper area that's on Kiss, which I don't love that area. But the art looks pretty good. I like the art style on it. They use these plastics that kind of have this neon greenish tinge, and
it's pretty cute that they're selling that as a feature. It's like, oh, we put plastic protectors on there.
I know some of the things that they try to sell as a feature is disappointing.
Yeah.
They've kind of got a world under glass where they've got a building and stuff. So I
like that.
I think it looks pretty good. Like I like it. They're gonna allow you to. They have what are they called? The expression lighting kits, right?
Yep.
They're gonna have that on. You can buy it aftermarket and put it on the Pro and the Premium, and it's gonna come standard on the LE. So I like that. Jersey Jack obviously is the king of what do they call their lighting?
Hot rails.
Hot rails. Yeah, I like expression better, but like their hot rails are way cooler. But still, I like it. I mean, lighting can really accentuate certain moments of the game, help make the game, help create that world under glass. So I think that's cool. I've watched some gameplay footage now. Obviously, their reveal stream and Fox Cities Pinball was doing some pro stream, and everyone seems to say that it's a fast game, and I do like that. It's got shots in the game that come back at you, like the car. I don't know if you saw the car.
Yeah, the car looks cool.
It's like I didn't realize this at first. I thought it was going to be static, but it's actually kind of like a kickback thing. So I like that. It does actually something on the Pro.
That's the Pro right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's a compelling case for the Pro on this version because the things that are on the Premium don't grab me as being a great upgrade. Like the car will swing out, which it's cool. It like kind of drifts out. I'm not sure how much that really affects gameplay in a meaningful way. There's bizarrely a stand-up target that's blocking that pop bumper area that's on the Premium, but not on the Pro. I mean, I don't know why you just don't put it on there. It's not like an expensive part. There's John Wick's gun case that
has swords in it.
It's like it's on the right side. There's like a bash thing, and then it pops open to hit a scoop shot. So again, does it matter that it's in there or not on the Pro? I don't know. And then there's the medallion on the Premium that just opens up, and reveals lights inside. Like, no, seriously, who cares? Like, it's nice, but like, and the Premium and LE physically will lock the ball where the Pro doesn't. Which again, it's kind of like, ball locks are cool when the game's saying ball one locked and it doesn't actually lock. It's a little weird. Ball locks also slow down the game a little bit.
Yep. Which
can be a negative. So this might be. I'm interested in this game. It's all going to come down to the rules, right, and how this game develops over time because it's only at 0.8 in the rules right now. It's very early, so it's really how it comes along. But it looks like a fun game. It looks like it could be a little maybe tougher game, which I like. I love hearing that it's a fast game. The music sounds pretty good in the game. They hype up that this is really weird too. They hype up they're using 4K video, like 4K
on this
video
tiny little
on
screen.
What is it, 720p screen? Like why do they keep on going on about that? It's really weird. Like
they're also hyping up AI too, as they're just checking all the buzzword boxes basically. It's like, okay, Stern, all right, that's fine. Industry first and whatever, yeah.
And I'm a little worried that they're kind of hyping up these quasi features, and maybe they're great. Look, I haven't played the game, right? This is just this is first impressions, everything, right? Maybe it is cool, maybe it isn't. But sometimes I'm like, if they kind of churching these things, hyping these things up, it's like, are they trying to cover for the fact that there's not anything really interesting in the game? I don't know, but it looks fun. And I was watching Fox Cities Pinball. He was giving his impression of the Pro after he's played, and I respect his opinion. He's like, it's a fun, fast game. He likes it. and he said what's in there in the code, even though it's super early, is not bad. So, yeah, mark me down as probably a pro buyer. I'm just deciding now if I'm going to upgrade the premium, but it's hard to justify a $2,500 bump, especially because, if I buy the game, I'm going to want the expression lighting kit, and it doesn't come on the premium. So that's another $500 you got to lay out. You're almost better off just getting the pro, getting the lighting kit and a shaker motor, and then I upgrade the speakers. Like, if you do all that to the premium, you're way over $10,000.
Yeah.
And this is not I don't think this is an amazing game. I think it's a game that I'm moved by the theme, and it's going to be pretty fun. But time will tell.
Yep. We look forward to playing it, and hopefully you grab one, and then I'll just come over and play yours.
Yeah, that sounds good. But I understand that. So their schedule is that the pros are shipping now for locations, which is cool. I like how they do that.
Yeah.
And then premium and LEs are going to start to ship. So the pros for like the general population won't come out until August. So it's months away. August seems very far away right now, even though the summer goes fast. At the same time, this game seems to me when I hear 0.8 code, that's super early, right? So I'm not missing out on not having this game. I want to see how it develops and how it goes.
Yeah, I think you got time.
I do like that they got Ian McShane though for the call outs. Huge plus, huge win. Great call, Stern. Ian McShane's got a great voice, great character from the movie. I guess you're going to hear call outs from Keanu Reeves, and I did see like one scene in the game where he's talking, but it's very right now with the code, like there's not a lot of movie speech and not a lot of Keanu's, which is, again, hopefully that changes drastically, because you want to hear his quotes like, "Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back," right? Like all that good stuff.
Yeah. Right now, there's more Keanu in Toy Story 4 as Duke Kaboom. They got to up their game,
No, I'm excited. This is a theme. This is a theme I want. I really emotionally want to be good, right?
Nice.
And I want a tough game. I want a tough game that will be a good fight.
So cool. We'll report back more after we have a chance to play it. In the meantime, we have a bunch of other pinball machines to talk about. I guess we'll go to this one next. It's Abba by Pinball Brothers. So this is their third game. Alien, and then Queen, and now Abba. They're hyped on this, I guess. I mean, Abba was a huge band before my time, not my genre. So this is not one that I'll be itching to buy. Also, it's kind of weird because the original Pinball Brothers are no longer with the company now, I guess. So that adds another layer of what's actually going on over here. As a current Pinball Brothers machine owner in Alien, I don't have the greatest confidence in build quality, and their support seems okay, but there's weird things like they don't have manuals for their games and schematics and things like that. So if you're a huge ABBA fan, maybe go for it. The art also looks kind of looks like AI generator, like really bad. I don't know. It looks AI-ish to me. And it's kind of plain. I know nothing about ABBA, so I don't know if like this is an iconic look that all ABBA fans will resonate with that look. But it's just kind of like, oh, here's some geometric shapes on the side, and they put the ABBA name in Helvetica font, and there you go, we're done. It's some AI generated ABBA people, and yeah, there you go, there you have it. It does have a cool, like the helicopter mech looks pretty cool. The balls lock in there. I gotta say, it looks a little like, how long until this thing breaks? It looks a little flimsy. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say about ABBA. They did a reveal party stream thing, and the quality of the gameplay video was really bad. So you couldn't really hear or see what was happening, and the people they had playing were just kind of random people at the party, so not necessarily somebody who could talk through the game and explain what was happening or get far into it and really show you what was up. So, Nick, any thoughts on ABBA?
I think the most positive thing I can see about, is it ABBA or ABBA? I have no idea.
I always call it ABBA, whatever.
You say ABBA, I say ABBA. Yeah, whatever this is, the thing is, like, every other theme is marked safe from Pinball Bros tackling it. So I'm perfect. I'm glad that they chose ABBA, whatever. Can care less about this game. The worst thing is, Kevin, is like if there's a theme that you like and like
Oh,
Pinball Bros does it,
Yeah.
or American Pinball does it, or sorry guys, or even Spooky does it.
yeah.
You know, like I want if you have a theme that you love, my priority is this Jersey Jack number 1, and I'll settle for Stern. I do,
Yep.
but that's it.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, they can work on that. I gotta say, I am a fan of Alien. I like it, but that really wasn't their game. They just picked that up from Highway and started making that from them. So based on Queen and ABBA so far, like Queen was a hot mess. I talked to, so spoiler alert, I sold my Roadshow, and we'll talk about that more later, but the person that bought it was a Queen owner, a huge fan of Queen. I was like, oh, what did you think of that? Because I played it at a show, and it was kind of like whatever. He's like, it was a nightmare. I had to basically tear the whole machine apart,
Ugh.
put like 60 hours into it to get it to work. And then like once he got it working, he realized how bad the code was. And he got to a point
Jesus.
in the code where there's like nothing there, and is like, proceed with caution on the Pinball Brothers games. If you like Alien, the game is complete. It's all there. It's a delicate flower, so you kind of know what you're getting into parts wise. But yeah, I would say proceed with caution. On
Victimus, fair enough comment. First time chatter says this is definitely a risk, but I like variety in the world. The fact that we are in a world where pinball has enough manufacturers to release an ABBA, we add. Okay, I mean, I just kind of read that verbatim. And Wildcat says makes sense for a Euro company. They're positively massive in Europe, so nice to have that perspective. And yeah, I think that why I knock and I make that comment about I'm glad that they're not picking Pinball Brothers is not picking themes that I like is because universally I hear that these games are just like falling apart, right? Like to your point, Kevin, of what you said, our friend Dave Souza, he's got an Alien, and he's like the second or third owner of it. So somebody's already gone through and fixed a lot of things, but he's like, every time I play it, like I'm afraid another screw's gonna fall out, or God forbid one I'm gonna fix. Now, every pinball machine has some gremlins here and there, but man, not like this. This is on a whole different level. So you've got build quality issues on top of the fact, like, let's be honest, they don't have the deep bench of coding and talent that like Stern or even Jersey Jack has. So yes, it's nice that people get to scratch that itch, but it's also, I feel, for people who are like fans of these themes. Like, I mean, Queen's like a massive band, right? And somebody finally makes the Queen theme, and unfortunately, it's this like C-level tier pinball manufacturer. So you've got quality issues. You got, to Kevin's point, having to spend an ungodly number of hours to get the game working, and then only to discover that the code is garbage. Like, I feel for those people, right? Like, it's really too bad. That's where I've come from on that.
Yep, I'm with you. I get that. All right, so I think we got ABBA covered. Who knows if we'll ever get to play it, but if we do, we'll report back.
Who knows if we'll ever talk about it again?
Yeah, that could be it. All right, let's move on to another new thing. This is a new old thing. It's so there's a couple things going on here. We got Funhouse joining the list of Bally Williams games being remade, but this is being done by Pedretti. So now apparently Pedretti and also Chicago Gaming are doing remakes. So you've got two different companies doing remakes of 90s Bally Williams games. Pedretti decided to make Funhouse their first one, and they're doing it in two flavors. This is the limited edition version you're seeing with art by Brian Allen. And then they also have a classic version, which is just basically a reproduction of the old school Funhouse, except it's got an LCD screen in the back instead of the segmented displays. And it also has the on playfield screen above the scoop, because both versions have the 2.0 code in there, the Rudy's Nightmare, as well as the classic rules and things like that. Which in theory is like, that's cool. Like, Funhouse is a good game. I like the idea of adding the new rule set to it. The one time I had an opportunity to try to play the 2.0 rule set, it was at we were in Texas, and it was the coffee place that has a bunch of pinball machines. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe was it What's Brewing? Maybe. and it didn't work. So that was not a good sign for that. I put $1 in and nothing happened. So not a good experience with that, because I wanted to try the Rudy's Nightmare Code just to see what it was like, because I like Funhouse enough, and was curious to see what they did with it. But I don't know that I love the art's fine. Like it's good art, but I don't know if I love it. Like it's like super weird.
So this is so I think this is Brian Allen.
Yeah.
And I think Brian Allen's incredibly talented. I've got his like disc golf disc that he made with like a pinball art. But yeah, I mean, Bloody Cactus says I dislike the new backlash art, and I think that the first of all, Funhouse is like kind of an iconic pinball machine, so you almost want the original art.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I fall into the category when things get too busy, even though it's like really kind of interesting and might make a good poster in your game room or something. The art is super busy for me, and I just tend to dislike busy art. It's kind of overwhelming. But that's me. I mean, don't ever come to Buffalo Pinball for Nick's art takes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I agree. Like you want that classic look. People. I think in that case, Chicago Gaming does it right. They emulate the original art. Sometimes they put little flares into the overall package, like with the new topper or things like that. But usually they stick to the classic look. But to me, this feels like we want to charge, what is it, $10,000 or $11,000 for a Funhouse. Wow. How do we get people to spend that much for a game that doesn't sell for that much usually? Like, remakes made sense when it was Medieval Madness, and Medieval Madness was upwards of $12,000, $13,000, and they were able to offer it for like $7 or $8 or whatever they originally came out with. That's why people lined up and got their wallets out and were like, yes, give me a Medieval Madness. Now they're kind of like going deeper on the bench of the Bally Williams games, and are trying to find the games that people will pay for. And, like we mentioned earlier, the market is not what it was a few years ago. So this is a much tougher sell now than it would have been a few years ago.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you said, Kevin. And in chat, Wildcat says, "Why does it have assets from other games on it?" I mean, that is a good question. It's kind of it's a weird choice. So I wish them luck for all the people in the pinball hobby and market that are excited by this. I'm glad. Back to Victimus's point, like we're at a nice point of time where we've got so many pinball machines to choose from. All these ones are not going to survive. It's a tough market out there, but it is a nice time to have that choice and to get a lot of these opportunities. So
that's a thing you can buy if you want. I got another thing you can buy if you want. Hang on, I got to load up the page properly. I got to present this in the manner in which it deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, one theme that has not been mark saved, it's the Blues Brothers, has been picked up by Homepin, who you might know for the critically renowned Thunderbirds, and what was the other? Oh, Spinal Tap is their other one. Everybody universally loved and adored Spinal Tap and Thunderbirds. They are doing Blues Brothers.
Who's buying these games that they continue to be able to manufacture and make them and get licenses? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is weird. And what is extra weird about this is they're billing it as the world's first open source commercial pinball machine. So here's what it says. Homepin is pleased to announce the release of our new Blues Brothers licensed pinball machine. It is a full-size mechanical machine that runs on open source software that can be played as supplied from the factory or changed at will by end users. The recommended retail sell price for the incredible Blues Brothers pinball machine is $4,950 US. That's $7,700 Australian. Buyers will be able to register on the dedicated Homepin Blues Brothers forum and discuss software changes. Even those with no programming knowledge will be able to get different versions of the software that have been tested by the moderators to try in their own Blues Brothers machines. So let's take a closer look at this beauty. So there's a Spinal Tap on the left and Blues Brothers here on the right, and then there are some closer up photos here. The world's first. This flyer, holy shit, Nick Lane, look at this flyer. If this flyer doesn't give you confidence in this project, I don't know what will.
I can make that flyer.
Yeah. It's like they opened up Microsoft and they did some hot word art on this flyer. And it says the world's first open source pinball machine with a really bad drop shadow behind pinball machine with an exclamation point. Let's see. Full-size mechanical pinball machine using industry standard construction. Game ships with factory code ready, quote unquote, ready to play. Includes mechanical knocker as standard. Open source code is Arduino based. Lowest RRP of any pinball machine on the market. So it's retail price, I think, is what that is. 100% made in Taiwan. Oh, made in Taiwan by 100% Australian owned and run company. Online forum available to owners only and will be tightly moderated. So there you go. Let's go with this flyer. I'm gonna print that out and just hang it up in my game room. That's like the best looking flyer I've ever seen. And then okay, here's one that shows the art, the play field. Again, it's like, oh, this is prototype, but it's basically they took stars and they slapped some really bad Blues Brothers art on it.
It's so washed out, right? Like,
Yeah.
it just feels so terrible.
They leaned way into the blue of the Blues Brothers. It's like basically just solid chunks of blue with really flat black, the Blues Brothers on really huge on the bottom. And there's some the panel art around the speakers is police cars. And yeah, it's just bad. It's bad.
It's terrible. It's like they had like 3 colors to work with, and this is what they came up with.
Yeah. Yeah, but what makes me I wonder, like, how does a licensor agree to an open source pinball machine?
You almost got to wonder if they have the license, right?
Right.
You almost have to wonder because it is so terrible.
Yeah. Because, like, somebody could, if with an open source theme, you can put whatever you want on this machine. And would a licensor want their machine associated with things that don't have anything to do with the movie, right? Because Stern fights those battles with people doing the pinball browser stuff. Like, the licensors don't like that stuff. And then there's that. And then there's also, like, is it just an excuse so they can get away with doing shitty code and be like, oh, well, the community will code this for us and we don't have to worry about it.
Somebody go verify who owns the license to Blues Brothers.
Yeah, we need to know.
I don't know, but
anyways,
yeah. This is a time when you want the licensor to say no.
Yeah.
Like, you want the licensor to be there is a method to the madness of a licensor trying to protect a brand, right? Like, I get that. It's like a dance, right? Like, I think Lionsgate went way overboard with John Wick, and we're seeing the repercussions of that, and some attorneys or some crazy people who are just oblivious to how the world works, right? And then you have this, and my God, I mean, how much money is the licensors of Blues Brothers going to make on this game? Like, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, like, how many of these are they going to sell?
Make it make sense, Kevin.
I can't. Some things in this world I cannot justify or have make sense, and this is one of them. It's the Blues Brothers, ladies and gentlemen.
Another game we will not be buying or probably ever playing.
Yep. Hopefully, I was going to say, Pinburg's making a comeback, so maybe if they get back up to where they were, someday we'll be able to play this at a Pinburg in the future. But otherwise, if anybody in the Western New York area ends up buying a Blues Brothers, let us know. We'll come over and we'll stream it. And we'll have a good old time.
If you're within like a 10-minute radius,
leave
my house to come over. I'm not. 15 minutes is out of the question.
All right, fair. All right. If that wasn't enough, I have yet another pinball machine. I don't know if Nick Lane's seen this one, so this will be a good one to show off.
All right.
It's Tilt Bob Pinball shares new video of upcoming game Road Trip. All right, let's just. I'm just.
I've not seen this.
Yeah, here you go. So I want to make this bigger, but I think it's gonna blow out my hair if I do it like this. Then we'll be able to see it. Okay, so soak it all in. It's Road Trip, an original theme pin by Bob Nees, Tilt Bob Pinball. This is a prototype and beta test that we're seeing. And he's flapping it around. It looks like he's gonna have a prototype pop-up targets. There's cow pop-up targets. Look at that. Boom. Yeah. It's got a screen in the playfield, some big old loopy-doopy ramps. He's got some top secret confidential stuff in the top corner.
I have a feeling there are pop bumpers up there.
Yeah. The top secret pop bumpers. There you go. So this is another Another new pinball company. It's just what the market needs right now is more pinball startups
Crazy.
with original themes that are going to be a hard sell. But I mean, the layout looks kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, it's like visual, like, you know, the art is, I mean, it's you know, it's not bad. I mean, like I see you try to do some interesting things on it. Like, no, not remotely interested, not taking a chance on a new pinball company like most people, but you know, I mean, it's as a first effort or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's kind of, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking, not for me, not probably gonna sell well, but like it's cool. There's some cool things in there.
Here's it for everybody who says they
too.
want original theme pinball machines. Here you go. Here's another one,
Which is not me. So
another one you're not going to buy. There it is.
you can't hold me to that. Yeah. And,
All right, so yeah, we'll see. Something to keep an eye on. I got better vibes from that than I do from Ballerama, so they're already off to a better start. So we'll keep an eye on the development of Road Trip, and we'll keep you posted. Yes, they want original themes, but not that one, says Arlem, and that's very very appropriate. All right, Jersey Jack update. They've been crushing out a bunch of software updates finally. Guns N' Roses Not in This Lifetime pinball got the biggest one, but I think all their games got updates of some sort, but this was the big one they've been working on. So this is updated to code 3.0. It's got a bunch of scoring changes, so they went through and rebalanced all the scoring throughout the game. Changed the scoring and the rules for Slash Solo. That was one of those modes when people got to it, they would just time it out because it wasn't worth the risk. It was super risky mode and not a lot of scoring. So that was one that needed some work. Some bug fixes, a bunch of lighting displays and things of like. They also added a Biggest Loser champ for uncollected song mode jackpot, which I kind of love. So if you spend your, play through the song and get a massive jackpot and don't cash it out, they have a high scoreboard for that now. And it was great seeing there's somebody on Facebook crying about how sad it was when why are you rubbing this in my face when I lose a big jackpot? It's like, well, collect the jackpot and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So
stuff like that is fun. So good on them. And apparently Godfather is up next for code update, so looking forward to that. And I do kind of wish I had my GNR still so I could try this, but I think Dr. Ben's still got his, so maybe we'll go over there and play his one of these years. So good on that. Let's see. Up next we got a bunch of updates from Multimorphic. They have started shipping their upgrade kits. So this was their public update as of May 6th, so about a week ago. Week or two. A few months ago, they promised they did this full quality review on their machines and found that there were a few key parts of the older P3s that needed upgrades. And by doing the right thing, they offered this kit to existing owners for no charge. It's a $250 kit that includes, let me see if I've got a picture of it here. It's somewhere. It's not in this. Oh yeah, here it is. No, that's the back box thing. There's a picture of it. If I go here, I can show you. But it's a power supply. It is some aluminum upper flippers. It's improved end of stroke switches and flags. Some pivot points for flippers that are the welds are improved on, things like that, and the power supply for overall quality upgrade. So my P3 personally is playing great. So this will be something that I have mine on order. It should be here within the next week. And I'll just keep the parts around, and if something breaks, I'll swap it in. But otherwise, I'm just gonna keep playing my P3 as it's playing well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it is my motto. You know what I mean? In other P3 news, Dungeon Door Defender launched a new update. I streamed it a week or so ago, but they added an entire new mode on this that includes artifacts. So if you know this game, it's kind of like a tower defense game in pinball form. And so now there's a whole new mode that has all these upgrades and power-ups you can get that affect the way the game plays. And It does make the game a little easier if you get a good run going. So if you've played Dungeon Door Defender and it's been too hard for you, give the artifacts mode a shot. I was playing this game like nonstop. It's so fun. The artifacts. I was like, because it's got that one more game. Like, all right, if I play again now, what are the artifacts I'm gonna get? This is gonna be the run where I put it all together and I get the artifacts that I want. So it's got that kind of hook of these roguelike games that keep you coming back. So highly recommended. Check out Dungeon Door Defender, especially if you got a P3 with the heist playfield. It's also being ported to the Princess Bride module, which is a kind of a natural fit for this medieval theme. So I'm curious to see how it'll work on there. But I think this will be a good game between this and the Princess Bride. That'll be a great 1-2 punch for that playfield when it comes out. So yeah, check out Dungeon Door Defender with artifacts. That's a no cost upgrade if you already own the game. This is not a DLC thing. You just get the update. And you get this whole extra mode in there, which is awesome. So shout out to Michael Ocean for that update.
Kevin, one thing that's not on our list to talk about, but I just occurred to me. So I don't have many details on it. You just mention it quickly. Maybe you know more than I do. But I guess Stern is going to be going to Spike 3, the third iteration of their board. So we're going to get a new board set. It's going to be a cabinet redesign as well. I'm not sure what this means, right? Some people suspect we're going to get maybe a bigger LCD. George Gomez, briefly mentioned it. He didn't want to give anything away to take away from the hype of the release, but sort of better everything. And I think they've reached their limits on Spike 2 in terms of what they want to do. And there's fixes that they want to make to Spike 2, which will be done in Spike 3. It's still going to use the node board system. And allegedly, the rumor is that the first game to be on Spike 3 is going to be Metallica by John Borg. I have no idea if he's just redoing Metallica, like he came out in 2013 now, and just redoing that, maybe with, obviously stereo sound, maybe better, obviously better lighting, better video, or if he's going to just totally have a new Metallica game with a different layout. So I find that interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I gotta agree.
Kind of weird. Yeah, kind of weird. The other thing too, and then this came from Nap Arcade, is and this is like in the same article, he was saying that Stern had the license for Indiana Jones, which I want an Indiana Jones machine. I really want Jersey Jack to do it. But I digress, because that's like my favorite theme, one of my favorite themes. And I guess John Borg was working on that, but he got pulled off of it. So I don't know if that means that, and again, this is rumor and speculation, right? I don't know, Nate. So I don't know if that means that if indeed he was working on it and they just flat out abandoned it, or he just switched gears and is going to work on Metallica and then come back to that. So really interesting. But if that is, let's say that hypothetically that's true, I love John Borg, but after they messed up Indiana Jones in 2008,
oh god,
he should not be allowed to touch that theme. Like,
I forgot he did that
to
one.
Elwin. That game was so bad. I love John Borg, but that was such a miss. Maybe he wants a redemption, but like, give it to Elwin or give it to JJP to do is all I'll say.
And definitely don't let Lonnie Robb do the rules. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm going to run the first bathroom break. Kevin,
there we go.
Ninja Eclipse, all you, buddy.
No, I'm still. We're not through with the P3 update, so I'll keep working on those.
Anyways.
All right. So it seems kind of soon for Spike 3, doesn't it? I don't know. So let's jump over here. We got a few more updates in the P3 realm. Let me take a look at my rundown here. So we've got let's jump over here. A new game has been teased by Ian Harrower Games, and it's called Bank Billiards for the Multimorphic P3. Details are very limited at this point, so I'm not going to say too much more because I do know more about this. I've played it. Super fun game, and we're going to be doing the launch stream for Bank Billiards right here on Buffalo Pinball on June 1st at 2 p.m. Eastern. So tune in live. If you miss it live, it'll be archived on the YouTube channel if you want to see Ian's latest game. So his first release was Birdwatcher, which you'll probably remember from us doing the reveal stream of that. Super stoked to have Ian coming back. He's going to be with me in person. I've got some friends coming over. They're going to join me. We're going to show off this latest game. So I was trying to get Nick Lane to come over for this one, but he's going to be out of town. Hence why we haven't we haven't done a lot of streaming lately because our schedules don't keep missing each other and they don't sync up. So I'm gonna go ahead with Ian and some friends, and we're gonna show up Blood Bank Billiards, and it's good. It's a fun game. I think you guys are gonna dig it. So stay tuned for that. Nick Lane Blood Bank Billiards new P3 game coming out. We're gonna be launching it here. And then the last the last thing for the P3 right now is this is a cool thing that Pinball Life just launched yesterday, and I kind of had the inside scoop on this from Scott and Denise. He showed me some really early work that he was doing on this when I went down for the Final Resistance stream. So he has developed a low profile button box system for the P3. So one of the things when people step up to a P3, it's like, oh, it's got these weird button boxes on it. And that's different from a traditional pinball machine. So it's like an instant, oh, this is different sort of thing. So this is one more way to kind of like reduce that initial like weird, this is different reaction when people start playing it. It also adds a switch. And it has a stacked leaf switch in there so you can stage flip. So if you turn on all 4 flippers to fire at the same time with the red buttons, if you push them in halfway, they will stage like a traditional pinball machine now instead of just constantly always firing. So it gives you that more of a traditional feel for playing a P3 game. If you're used to stage flipping and you have that's definitely an advanced pinball skill. But if that's one you use and like, you can do that with the P3. And if you want to switch back to using the upper flippers on the secondary buttons, you can just flip a switch and do it. You don't have to go back into your software and change it. So really cool upgrade. I do have a set on order, so I'm looking forward to trying them out for me in person. But this is cool because he basically reworked everything. They had to remanufacture buttons that are like super low profile. He did some really cool work on that. So I think it looks really good. And I think I personally don't mind the button boxes, especially now that I've had my P3 for a while. But I think this is a nice upgrade for folks who want a more traditional feel on their pinball machines. It's not wood. It's the P3 traditional button boxes are plastic. So but they're modular, so they have a connector in there, and you can see that on this picture here. There's just a single connector. You pop them out, you screw the new ones in, and all this was designed to be modular. So it's cool to see a lot of this getting taken advantage of. They have for Cannon Lagoon, for example, they did a single button box because that's a redemption style game, and they did like this big like huge button on it because it was supposed to be for like if you put it on location at a Dave and Buster's or something like that, kids would know to hit this big button on the side. So and again, those are modular, so you just swap them out. So Scott's fighting the good fight of silencing all the haters, I think, between his design of Final Resistance and these button boxes. He's doing some good stuff. So excited to see that and excited to try those out.
Kev, do you know why it's called the P3? Like what that stands for?
Physical Pinball Platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see why they went with P3.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's a P4, you'll have to come up with another P for the 4th P. Preliminary, I don't know. There's got to be something good in there. So chat room will figure that one out. What's the 4th P if there's a P4? Okay. All right, Nick, you made it back in time for Ninja Eclipse, so I'm happy about that. We never got a chance to talk about this last month because they launched it after our podcast or 2 months ago. Yeah,
that's right. Wow, this is so long ago. So long.
Ninja Eclipse. They learned their lesson when they launched that weird, goofy home pin looking machine at TPF last year or Expo, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's gross looking. I don't want that." They went back to the drawing board and put it into a more of a traditional cabinet design. It's pretty much the same as a standard modern Stern with LCD screen. Very similar cabinet design with a few notable features. It's got LED strips, kind of like pin stadiums, built into the glass that lifts off as one entire piece. That was originally plexiglass, and they changed it to actual glass, which was a good move. But the game itself, the art is really, really good. The same artist that did the art for Looney Tunes for Spooky. He does a really good job. Interesting layout. Again, it's like, is there a market for this? There's also something weird, like, yeah, I think you have to sign up for their Turner connected platform, their pin access platform. So who knows, like, what's going on with that? Because it kind of feels like they want to get everybody in on this for some reason. So that might be why they lowered the price. So they did. The other thing was they lowered the price to $69.94. So basically $7,000. Estimated to ship beginning in fall 2024. So again, this is another proceed with caution. New pinwheel manufacturer has ties to Deeproot, which has its own sketchy background. So even though they said they're not connected to Deeproot, they launched on deeprootpinball.com or whatever it was, and that weird game thing. And yeah, another proceed with caution on these guys, I think. But at least they took a step in the right direction with pricing and the cabinet design itself. So there you go. That's Ninja Eclipse.
Yeah, imagine listening to feedback from your potential buyers. Like,
did you play that at Pinbrew or no?
It wasn't there.
Boo! I was hoping to get some first impressions.
I'd love to be able to form a real impression of it, right? Like,
yeah,
and give it a shot.
I think our buddy Dave Sousa played it at TPF and said it's okay, like pretty good, you know. So
yeah.
not a ringing endorsement, but
it honestly looks better than what American Pinball's putting out. Just
totally.
Looking at it, which is it's kind of insane. Like that should not be the case, right?
Yeah,
like, that should not be the case whatsoever. But here we are.
Yeah, because so Barry O's barbecue came out basically the week before, and then the week after they showed this, and everybody's like, "Oh, this looks way better." So I think that's I don't know what that says, but it says something. All right. Speaking of startup pinball manufacturers who have been around for 11 years or so, it's Dutch Pinball. Dutch Pinball. This is on March 14th, so this is right after our last podcast. They said they're very happy and proud to say that they have finally, after all these years, finished paying our old debt. Early achievers are done. So not so early achievers, 11-year early achievers. Today we built and boxed the last EA. Tomorrow they will be transported to the U.S. It was a long road, blah, blah, blah. Wants to thank them. Special thanks to CoinTaker. They got all this like goodwill. Like, look at all this engagement on this post. They're like, oh, great job. You did it. We're really proud of you guys. Amazing to see. It's like, you guys took 11 years to build these machines that you took money from 11 years ago. It's crazy. I mean, it beats the alternative, I guess, which would be not getting your game, but giving some company an interest for the loan for 11 years doesn't really sound like something I want to do, but I guess people are happy for them, and good on them for turning it into positive spin for themselves.
It's funny too. I mean, that like in what it was like 2014, like that is a game that was kind of like if it came out and they had a good launch in 2014, would have been like ahead of so many games. But now it's kind of showing its age to me.
Totally,
you know?
yeah.
And just like what's it, content, rules, and everything else. So it's just too bad. Every time I think about that, I just think it's too bad because again, that's a theme that I absolutely love, but I don't own that game. You know?
And the price just keeps going up and up and up on it. It's like a $14,000 game or something like that now. Yeah, I went back to check. I was like, when did this game get launched? And this was December 27th, 2013 on Pinball News. Dutch Pinball secures the Big Lebowski license. So this is back when they first started promoting this. Oh, I bet this has the price in it too. Oh no, this is just saying they got the license. Oh no, here it is. Here we go. Here was the early promises. Machines will be made in the Netherlands at a new Dutch pinball facility, with the first units due to ship in the second quarter of 2015, approximately 15 to 18 months from that announcement. The cost of the game was 75.50 euros, or so $8,500 in the US plus tax. Yeah. So there you go. Hope you didn't need that $8,500 in the past 10, 11 years, because they were using it. They were busy with it. So there you go. But they did it. They came back and they finally gave everybody their games. They had one other announcement, which was this. So a couple weeks later, Dutch Pinball welcomes a new brand, DPX, Dutch Pinball exclusive. So if, obviously, here's a company that really has it all under control. They've got it all figured out. It took them 11 years to ship all the Big Lebowskis, but let's launch a second brand. What could go wrong? So building on its respected presence in the pinball industry, Dutch Pinball is pleased to announce the introduction of DPX, short for Dutch Pinball Exclusive. This new sister company marks an extension of Dutch Pinball's existing portfolio, focusing on producing limited editions of high-quality pinball machines for collectors. Let's see. They're catering to a niche market. DPX represents a commitment to the craft of the pinball machine creation, combining the renowned quality of Dutch pinball with a focus on exclusivity. Oh, so basically they're going to make really expensive, limited-run pinball machines, is what it sounds like.
They sound like a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, God, it must have been brutal for them over the last 10, 11 years of stress of trying to get these things out. I mean, good on them for finally making right. That doesn't take away their major mess up. But yeah, okay. Interesting.
This is the bottom of it, apparently. The rumors are that it's Alice in Wonderland, which would be
that's a J-pop thing that you try to do.
Yeah. So they're not only are they sketchy in their own right, they're hitching their wagon to another sketchy figure in J-pop. If it's that design, maybe it's a different Alice in Wonderland design, but all right, throw your money out if you want. I guess go right ahead, make yourself happy. Speaking of throwing your money away, what a segue! It's Haggis, yeah.
Ooh.
So I thought this was interesting. So we talked last time about how they were quote unquote recapitalizing the business and blah blah blah. They put out that email that was full of bluster. So I thought that this was interesting. Pinside user Grantman has been keeping a list of known customers waiting for their Fathoms. So they did Fathoms, and then they also did Centaur, which apparently was going to be their second game. So he says, this is just people that have posted here in the past 2 months, and one person that contacted me privately that also paid in full. This is obviously not a complete list. There are plenty of people that read this and don't post or are not on Pinside. So U.S. customers. So there's one that paid in full in May 2022. That's 2 years ago now. So 2 years ago, paid in full for his Fathom, has not been built or shipped. Another user in February 23, not built or shipped. April 23, not built or shipped. Paid in full May 23, not built or shipped. Paid in full October 2023, not built or shipped. October 23, not built or shipped. 2 Australian customers, September 23, November 23. 7 owing to the UK, paid in full May 2023. And then another one paid in full April 2023 for France, not built or shipped. So, I think this is not looking good for Haggis. And, I haven't been keeping, I'll go in that thread every once in a while just to see what the back and forth is, but this feels very, very, like, I don't know. It's like it's not gonna happen. It's in the ship is sinking, and everybody's who is in on it is trying to say, well, I think they're gonna pull through because they want their games to come, right? And some people have the reality check of, this is not looking good, and I think this is a interesting data point as to why it's not looking good. Any thoughts on Haggis, Nick?
I mean, all I can say is this is why Buffalo Pinball, Bro You Even Talk Pinball, hammers on, these like boutique or smaller or new manufacturers, because it's a tale as old as time. We just talked about Dutch Pinball before this, and now we're talking about Haggis and people losing their money or people putting deposits down. I mean, I feel for these people, but at the same time, don't only buy a game when it's ready and it's there. That's all I can tell you. You could do it from confidence with JJP and Stern because they have a track record of decade, or at least over a decade for JJP and decades for Stern, right? But yeah, I mean, that's why we hammer on them. That's why we give a hard time. That's why we point out these issues, is because we don't want to see anybody lose their money to these manufacturers that might not be able to deliver a product, or even when they deliver a product, it falls apart. So that's our PSA. We tried to do it. I think people who listen to our podcast have heard us say that before and are better educated and don't do that. But anybody new, this is our PSA that we're trying to help everybody here.
Yep. And all right. So this is Nick's new suggested segment for the show.
Oh, let me just do one thing. I'm
okay.
sorry. My
right.
mind's jumping around. I saw an interesting post, by the way. When we get into pricing in pinball. It was in the John Wick post, right? So I'm going to jump back a little bit. Bear with me, guys. So somebody kind of posted, price increase per pinball model, and I thought that was really interesting, right? We talk about value and money in pinball and the pinball market, and it's an interesting time, right? When manufacturers seem to be selling less because the economy is pretty tight right now. So this is since May 2020. This is by Cap'n 12 from Pinside. So he says the pro prices. Okay. Since May 2020, pro prices are up 14%. I know that's not bad, to be honest.
Yeah, with inflation.
Because that's when the money printer went burr. Okay. And we printed basically 40% of the money supply in the last 4 years. It's insane. All right, just think about that. So 14%. Premium is up 26%. LE is up 42%.
Oof.
Oof. So I'm seeing a lot of people saying they're not buying the LE. Like, you take our friend James, who used to buy LEs unquestioned, not getting them anymore. I think that's going to be a tough sell at $13,000 some dollars for the MSRP for the LEs, which have gone up way more than the pros in price, but also are absolutely tanking in price on the used market. So I guess really interesting thing. I just wanted to bring that up. I thought that was a really good post that somebody did on Pinside. So I joke about Pinside a lot. I obviously love Pinside, spend time there, but there is good content and smart people who are actually posting things that are interesting and helpful. So thank you for that post.
Right. Yeah. Same with in that Haggis thread. It's like, somebody takes the time to put the data together so it give you a better picture of what you're looking at. So, all right. Do you want to lead into the American Pinball segment, Nick? And set it up for us.
Yeah. So American Pinball, man. God, they've really come on our radar in the last year, and just kind of WTF are they doing? So our new segment, we need a jingle. Steven Silver said he might do something.
He offered
so maybe
to do some graphics. We need one.
Yeah, we might have to have a jingle.
He might not do this
graphics.
one because it's taking shots at the other manufacturers.
Yeah, I don't blame. Yeah, that's true. So somebody wants to have. We could just reach out to us. But American Pinball WTF. So this one.
We'll start with this one.
Let me click on the link here. I think I had to open it up. Well, maybe you bring it up.
You'll see it on the screen here.
All right. So I I had to laugh at this, and it's like, this is, maybe we'll call this nitpicking, but this is kind of like, in a legit, sophisticated, smart organization, like, everything you put out and communicate is important, right? You want to get it right. You put a lot of thought into it. And I think because if you start putting out things where there's errors in it and bad thought, then that extends to, well, what's in the product itself, right? So what we're looking at on the screen, and this was posted on American Pinball's Facebook in the last week, is it's an order now for Hot Wheels. And I'll just read what the text says, and I'll talk about the picture. So American Pinball's Hot Wheels Pinball is on the production line now, starting to be boxed and shipped next week. Okay, so by the way, there's already a grammatical error in there.
Yep.
They say American Pinballs without an apostrophe. So, come on, guys. Like, I mean, this is the whole company. There's no thought or care or attention put into this. Like, it's embarrassing, right? Like, you guys should be better than this. You've been making pinballs machines since, 2015? Like, come on. All right, but I take more issue visually with what we're seeing in the scene. So, in the scene, for those not able to look at this, and for those watching the live stream, you can try to guess in your head, what is Nick going to say? Let me know if you're right. We have the Hot Wheels pinball machine. It's in there. Then we have maybe a mom and a child. And it's almost like a child's game room, it looks like. This is like the Silver Spoon's Richie Rich kind of kid's game room. And in the game room, the kid's got he's got a Mario background, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but whatever. He's playing with a $20 Hot Wheels ramp toy. Okay? The pinball machine is turned off, okay, that they're trying to promote. The mother and child have their back turned to the pinball machine, and instead they're playing with a $20 Hot Wheels toy. Just think about that. If you were going to try to promote a game, wouldn't you think that you would show these people with the pinball machine on playing the pinball machine, not bored by it and turned off and forgotten about and playing a $20 toy instead? Like, just think about that for 2 seconds. There's not anybody in the company that says, hey guys, why are we using this picture? Why don't we show them having fun? And by the way, on every Stern game now, we've got Josh Sharp's kids playing Stern pinball machines, having fun. Like, oh, this is a blast. This is a good time, right? Like, that's how you do an ad. You just see what anybody else is doing. And just copy that. It's insane.
I like when Toyota puts a car ad out, and it's, you know, nobody's even looking at the car. The car is like over in the parking lot, and they're off like playing frisbee in the field or something, you know?
Yeah, it's just so like there's no thought. There's like no thought. It's embarrassingly bad.
Yeah,
God.
I mean,
it's not even a nightlight. RLM says it's not even showcasing that it could be a nice nightlight.
Yeah, I mean, this is a cool setup for an ad, right? Like, this room is really neat, lots of Hot Wheels stuff. I would lose all of the other brands and IPs that you're incorporating,
Sure,
like Mario
yep.
and Ninja Turtles, but have it in a room full of Hot Wheels things, show that, like, you know, people are super into Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
You know, if your family is one of these families that is obsessed with Hot Wheels, this is a great addition to your game room, you know? They were like almost there.
It's not hard.
It wouldn't have been that hard. Yeah,
this is not even like a layup. Like, come on. All right.
Yeah.
So that's what WTF was. What are they thinking? We've got more though.
Yeah. Before we go to that though, I want to touch on the sale that they're having right now that we talked about earlier. So they're having a Memorial Day sale on all their games except for Barrios, because we all know that's the hot new game. You can't discount that one. But if you want an American pinball game, while everybody else is pushing prices higher because, you know, prices on literally everything are going up, American Pinball is cutting prices, slashing and dashing, doing the like mattress Memorial Day mattress day sale on their pinball machines, $500 off. You too can get your own Houdini or Oktoberfest or whatever, because for some reason they're still making those.
For some reason, somebody's still buying them. I don't understand. I don't know the market. I don't know anybody personally that we know. So many collectors we play in League. Don't know anybody that owns an American pinball game. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I thought of that. It was like, we have what, like 6 or 7 like amazing collections in our league that not a single person, like, we all have Sterns and classics and JJPs and multimorphics and spookies and
Even Pinball Bros. Yeah.
even Pinball Brothers. Exactly. Not a single person has an American pinball game. So
It's crazy.
I think that's.
I know there's people who like them and they do, but
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know how they can exist, but we
Okay.
got more though.
Yeah. Why don't we just take this one away?
WTF is American Pinball Thinking. So I almost forgot about this. How could we forget about? So this is American Pinball Marketing sent this out to their distributors, and I'm going to read this. So bear with me, and I'm going to read it as is, and maybe highlight some questionable things in there if the text is wrong. But here we go. With summer quickly approaching, we want to take advantage of the time of the year to promote and sell American pinballs. I saw the apostrophe there, so
They got
good job.
it. Yeah.
New game BBQ, and BBQ spelled out. And that's not your new game. It's Barrio's Barbecue Challenge.
Hot sauce and hot rods.
And yeah, it's like the longest name in pinball. It's insane. Don't ever forget the full name.
Yeah.
We should have some new assets to post on your website soon, as we are constantly looking for new material. That's a weird way to phrase it, but
Yep.
okay. What we would like you to do is forward us any information regarding BBQ restaurants. Okay, BBQ restaurants is all capitalized, which is where the restaurant's capitalized. It doesn't need to be. In your area that possibly could house a BBQ pinball game. That, again, that's all capitalized. That's not like a proper name. It's insane. And also, what does it mean, house a game? Fine. I guess we got to get through this. I can't take issue with everything. Our marketing and sales team can help reach out to these establishments to help add sales to your business. So let's pause right there. We're not even done. This is going to double. So they want their distributors to say, okay, we got Jimmy Bob's Barbecue in our place, and report back to American Pinball. Why can't American Pinball just You just use I'm really trying not to swear. Why can't they just use Google to figure out what's in an area? Like, why do they need to give a homework assignment to their distributors who are probably struggling to sell these games to begin with? This is insane. But we talked about this before. Their plan is literally to sell this game to barbecue joints, which is, again, another level of insanity, right? Like, anyways, with BBQ still less than 2 months on the market, the market's capitalized. Why, Kevin? I have no idea. No idea. It does not need to be capitalized. For God's sakes, get somebody who can fucking write. We want to push and drive the sales for this game to the highest level they can be. So send me your, again, locals capitalized, local BBQ joints. That's all capitalized information. And let's get these BBQ pinball games all capitalized all over your town. Get them all over.
Let's go.
All over. Yeah, they're going to be just all over everywhere. By the way, this is, we're not done. But if you're a listener and, you know, if you see one of these games in your BBQ joint, if it's housed in your BBQ joint, to use their terminology, please send Buffalo Pinball a picture. We would love to see evidence. You would like to see this. And also, by the way, I know Kerry Hardy did like a skit about calling a barbecue joint, but even before he said that, I wrote to our group. I really wanted it and was tempted to do this. I know you guys probably would love this. I wanted to have like a stream where me and Kevin take turns cold calling barbecue places and trying to sell this game. Just like dialing for dollars, like, and just the reaction and the awkward conversation.
Whatever.
I just couldn't do it. I would need to be drunk, and I've been doing sales for 20 years, and I just can't fathom the uphill battle of trying to call up a barbecue place and sell this. It's just insane to me.
Yeah, because you're just gonna get whatever frontline worker is like just trying to get through their day. Like, this is weirdos calling me about pinball. Like, I got all these orders to fill. Like, I can't.
They're all just gonna say, yeah, send me something in the mail. Send me a brochure. That's the quiet way to tell you to go F yourself.
Yep.
Okay, let's get back to this. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, I mean ask. There's no period there. It just okay. So again, just sloppy, no review, no thought. Have a wonderful day. Period. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the death of a pinball machine company. Rest in peace. It's like, again, we talked about like outrage, or what we're going to get outraged over, you know, in quotes, and it's like, well, something that's outrageous. This is outrageous.
That was
this
pretty outrageous.
There were people like, you know, there was like the hype thread on Pinside, and again, I come back to an earlier point where there's a number of funny people in there, just kind of dunking on American pinball, and there's like at least maybe a couple people in there, and they're like trying to tell you that you can't have a negative opinion on this game or poke fun at it. It's like, who are you to regulate that? Like, it's hard to make fun of something that's not funny, right? Like, but when something is ridiculous and funny, and to comment on it, fair game, my friends. And it's also like not going into the owner's thread and then like not being an owner and making fun of them. I mean, those, God help those people. I mean, they're going to have a rough time as it is, and I feel for them. No one's doing that, okay? But in a hype thread to talk about it, total fair game.
Literally nobody is in the owner's thread, so because nobody owns this game. There's like
wants to
5 posts in there. So this is the segment we asked Steven to give us some intro, and we don't have an intro for it yet, but we're gonna keep doing it because you keep sending us submissions for mods you don't need. the hot new Bro Do You Even Talk Pinball segment. This one I found though, and it's kind of amazing because this is almost as many crickets in this thread as there are in the barbecue owners thread. So this is what is this called? The Pinball Media Club. Modernize your pin. I was like, what is this? So it's our media player and editor are finally out of beta, so let's talk about them. I would love to hear your feedback, and if you're planning on creating your own DMD action pack, make sure to share your progress. Sync videos, images, sound, and external devices with our pinball pinball player. You can easily modernize your pin by synchronizing actions shown on your DMD to video, sounds, and external devices. We now support up to 3 video displays. Below you can see an example of where I've added to my display, and I'll get this going while I'm talking so you can see what's happening. added a display to my black glass, where I've added a mini display to the playfield. Out of those two implementations, adding a mini display was definitely the easiest, as it didn't require any playfield modifications. If my getaway pin wouldn't have had a topper already, I would have added a video topper as well. Video topper. Here's a video where you can see both both displays in action. So Nick astutely pointed out that this was from using clips from the movie Baby Driver. Just kind of randomly inserted in there when things happen on the playfield. And there's also text overlays that say, lock is lit. There's a little animation of the car pulling up to Donut Heaven. And for some reason, they took the back glass and cut a big hole out of it and stuck a LCD in there. So you have this LCD above the DMD showing random movie clips. Yeah. So I guess if you really want Baby Driver video clips in your pinball machine, your getaway pinball machine, you could do it. Yeah, I don't think he's got a price in here. Here, let's go there live and see. Okay, here we go. Where's the price? Just give me the price. No price. That's not a good. Oh, we have to register. I'm very confused about. Oh, here we go. $39.95 one-time fee and installation. Online features, a monthly fee. No, absolutely not. File it under mods you don't need.
Wait.
Yeah,
there's a monthly fee.
Yes, all basic features for the premium. There's a basic offline version too. For $40.
So, dude, you're using Baby Driver, which you don't have the rights to, and you're monetizing that. I don't think that's legal, my friend.
I don't think they got the rights to do that.
It's one thing when people put that stuff out there for free and don't charge. I think that's like, man, I don't know. That's probably still not right. Like when people do the Jurassic Park thing, but like,
yeah,
profiting on it though, I know is a huge no. So you stole, monthly fee for stolen clips, movie clips is what Ketchup John Mustard said. What a great name in chat. Yeah, dude, like that is, yeah. Not only this is a mod you don't need, but you're stealing pinball, and he's trying to do this to operators on. Yeah, dude, this
operators
is absolutely not.
Need this.
Honestly, this should be in some kind of violation of. He's posting this on Pinside or advertising it. If you're trying to sell copyrighted stuff, you should just be taken down. I don't know. It's insane.
I like that. So there's like 6 posts in this thread. They're all from the OP. There's one question in here that says, "What do generic pictures of parking garages and urban traffic have to do with Steve Ritchie and driving fast?" I think that kind of sums it all up. And then literally there's zero interest from everybody else. So this one feels dead in the water.
I like that. Look, like there's a lot of technically talented people out there in the pinball community who have the desire to contribute or add to it. And I respect the hell out of that. That's not my skill set. My skill set is being creative in different ways. But I would say to these people that you need to partner up with somebody with maybe some business sense or marketing, right? You need a partner in this. You've got the technical know-how, but you're not approaching this the correct way, right? Yeah. And this is when it's like somebody who can do the technical stuff, but just this is what they come up with. Something that the market probably doesn't care or want. Then they're stealing assets. Like, no. Try to use your. I'm glad you get your talent, but figure out how to use it. But find somebody who's got a good business or marketing sense and can actually create something that the market wants here.
Yeah, well, it's like the PinVision mod that I have in Tron, right? That puts the screen in the back. It's they did it right. So it's like this cool mod. You put it replaces the backboard. You don't have to cut a hole in your machine or anything like that. And it uses original animation. So Steven Silver from Multimorphic did all the animations for it. They integrate with the theme, right? But it's not stealing movie clips and dumping it in there. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right. Yeah, don't just steal movie clips. All right, one more mod you don't need. It was a double whammy this month. This one was a submission. Actually, there is a third, but it's not really a mod.
We got the Cheaters Club too.
The Cheaters Club, yeah.
Did we talk about in the Cheaters Club the shark eating ball mod last time?
We did, yeah. We roasted that one already.
I've got more to say on it too.
All right, well, we'll definitely cover that then too.
Thank you.
All right. But this is for JJP's The Godfather, and I had seen this, and I was like, it's not really a mod because it's just somebody doing a thing to their pinball machine. But then somebody else also sent this to me, so I was like, all right, fine, we'll show it. So this Pinside user got little mini custom bobbleheads done of Eric Minier, Jack Winery, and some of the characters from The Godfather. And he just kind of like, stuck him in his Godfather. And let's check that. Look at that. There they are.
Ugh, that does not. I'm sorry. Like, that does not add to the game.
Does not.
No.
It's
creative. I mean, the fact that you can create that is cool. But even if they look silly to begin with, but like, why don't you add more characters from the movie? Like, people don't want Jersey Jack employees in the Godfather game. I mean, it's weird that they're in there to begin with on the LCD.
Right.
So why are you doubling down on that when people don't like it to begin with? But again, do what you want. It's cool that you've got that skill. I respect the hell out of that. But again,
yeah, the topper chopped in half and mounted on the bottom. Also, that's another bonus feature. I think he had a ceiling that could not accommodate the topper, so he cut it in half and put it on the sides, which is kind of creative. I got to give him that. But there's another one in here too that I don't want to have go unnoticed. A little bit further down, he made a. So we've shown pinball glass covers a few times. This one's kind of okay. It takes the playfield and puts it on a big, basically mouse mat, and then you can look at the mouse mat of the playfield instead of the actual playfield. So I guess if you're gonna cover up your machine, do it this way because then you can still kind of see what it looks like, even if you're not actually seeing it. So
it's the best of the worst right there.
Yeah.
Again, I understand people who have cats and stuff. That's like my favorite. Or if like there's some construction going on or something, like, all right, I'll give you that. But here's the thing: those, especially the Jersey Jack games, they have Invisiglass. You put these things on there, these dust protectors, which who cares about dust, right? When you put these on and take them off, that's the good chance you're going to leave marks or scratch that glass. So the irony is you're probably going to do more damage, trying to protect it from, the insidious dust monsters out there, right? Like, again, if you have cats, I get it. I understand. But if you don't, I just, I don't know, man. But yes, that is like the best. It's the best of the worst. I'm so against these things, but that's a smarter way to approach it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Okay. All right. Do we want to do my Cheaters Club first or your Cheaters Club? Do you want to talk? Let's show this one first.
Okay.
Because I have a photo of this. So this was our friend Matt sent me this because he's a space shuttle owner. He owns my old space shuttle, which it's been a while. But if you haven't watched the Brody Even Pinball, the one where we all get together and play pinball, go on YouTube, look for the episode where we play Jay on Space Shuttle. It's like probably the best episode. We peaked early on Bro. That was an amazing episode. So go back, watch that one, and then come back and check this out. It's Space Shuttle. So somebody has a space shuttle, and they didn't like how many trains they were getting on the left out lane. So they just decided to go ahead and drill a hole in the playfield and add a post.
Big oof. We got to have that oof meme
Huge
come up.
oof, yeah.
Oof meter.
My favorite part of this is this sentence here. It says, "We honestly see that left out lane is so egregious that it had to be a design flaw." Oh, okay. Okay.
It's egregious. What a baby.
It's so egregious.
Get better, baby. That game could be a long playing game too, by the way.
Yeah, you just shoot the spinner over and over.
Yeah, it's a pretty long playing classic, I gotta say.
Yeah, watch Eric Stone play it from the Summer Open.
Oh yeah,
for like 2 hours. Yeah, definitely needs that. It's got 3 downvotes though, so people are not agreeing with that post. So there you go. That's our entry into the Cheaters Club. Nick wants to talk about the ball shark eating mod thing though.
I just want to say about the space shuttle, one of the worst things when we talk about cheaters mods in the game is when somebody drills into the playfield. Like there's no going back from that.
Yeah,
that's it. You've. It's one thing if somebody puts in a extra ramp and they're a cheater. I have no respect for that. But at least you can go back to the way it's supposed to be. But this is, you've done it. You know, you've really done it. Okay.
Yep, you ruined the game. Good job.
So yeah, I guess I can't even remember. I guess we talked about the ball eating mod on Jaws. Can you bring up a picture?
Yeah,
of it?
I'll try to find it.
It's been surfacing recently. First of all, I'll say this again: the people who are creative and have the ability to do this, I'm not criticizing your technical skills. It's not can you do it? It's should you do it? And granted, if there's a market for you and you're making money, then you're giving the market what you want, and I will also grant you that. So I want to. People always forget, like I say these caveats, and they want to go after me, and like they act like I don't say that, and they criticize me. It's like no. This is I'm acknowledging that. But you've now like on the premium they've put this.
It's so stupid, dude.
Yeah. It's worth talking about again because it's so bad. Look at that. Look at how amateurish and ugly that is. It has no lower jaw.
Yeah, I gotta go back to the beginning.
The jokes in the pin side are pretty great. Instead of jaws, they call it jaw. Oh my god.
It's so bad.
Look at that. There you go. Everybody wants the shark to eat the ball. There you go. You know. So here's the thing about this game, which I own Jaws Premium. That game has a lot of returnable shots, which I call safe shots. When you hit the shot, it returns it to the flipper, which makes it safe. You know, there's a few shots in the game that actually come back at you and are more dangerous, such as hitting the shark, the standard shark on the premium, where you hit it and it ricochets back at you. Now, it's not super dangerous, but like, you know, it can lead to some drains. And the rules on the game make it a risk reward because when you're about to start a mode, the shark will come up and you can choose to hit the shark so that during the mode, the shark stays up and you can hit it again to extend the time or get points on it or like double scoring in that mode. So again, this is introducing the risk reward. Do I want to risk going for a shot that's going to be a little more dangerous and puts the ball out of control, or play it safe and ignore it? But I forego extra points. So by implementing this hideous mod, what they're now doing is they've changed the way the game is designed, and when you hit it into the shark's mouth, it safely returns it to the right flipper, and that's not the way the game is designed from a rules perspective. Like, you are absolutely cheating. You've made your game ugly. I think the sculpt that they have in the game looks great, that Stern did. Looks really good. Looks threatening and menacing. This looks like, I don't know, man. It looks like Baby Shark. It looks like that game from the 90s where the shark attack chases you around. It's so comical and childish looking. Like, it absolutely ruins it for me. And I was really, again, go listen to George Gomez's interview on the Flippin' Out podcast from a week ago. He was commenting on this and talking about it. And he was just saying, like, look, they could have easily had Jaws eat the ball. I mean, they've done it on Jurassic Park. It's not a question of can they do it. It's Keith didn't want the game to work that way, and the game is not coded for that. So George Gomez, he's kind of like just aghast at it, and he quote he's like, we were kind of snickering at it. So they think you're cheating. They think it's silly. Okay, like, you guys are butchering your games and you're making it easier. Like, you could be fine with that. You do what you want with your game, but I don't know, man. It's just a level of insanity to me. Of this, it didn't happen 10 years ago in the hobby. This is a recent phenomenon. Everybody sort of lost their mind in COVID in different ways, and this is a post-COVID world we live in where people are modifying their game and cheating.
Yeah. So I didn't know how much this mod would cost, but I knew it had to be expensive. So it's $475 plus shipping. So you're going to be out about $500 to ruin your Jaws pinball machine by putting this in. Not to mention the fact that you can't read the navigation at the top because the colors don't work. So, all right, do what you want with your games. But by
the way, too, the rules in the game is there's like a machete shot which will double at least 2x the next shot. So when you hit the shark, and it's not supposed to do this, but it returns it to the flipper, you're cheating, right? Like, you're getting that you're getting access to that increased score shot. Like, it's so stupid. This is so stupid, but whatever. Look, I understand. I respect an opinion that like you wanted the game to eat the ball. You were surprised that they didn't implement. I get that's fine. But come on, guys. Like, either accept the game for the way it is, or don't buy it. And if you don't want to buy it on principle because that's important to you and you value that in the game that doesn't eat it, then fine. Doesn't bother me. I think it's fine. I trust in Keith. I think the gameplay is great the way it is. But this is worse. This is a knee-jerk reaction to this. So I don't know. Buffalo Pinball doesn't endorse cheating in pinball.
Yeah, Borgdog asked if we covered the Bond Scuba Kick mod, and I think that may have been the first entrant into the Cheaters Club that we did. So yeah, we definitely covered that one.
Yep.
Do you want to kick off game room updates?
I'm gonna go take my second bathroom break as predicted, and it's all coming. Yep, there we go. Everybody take a shot.
All right. So I guess I'm gonna talk about my game. So, first up, I've been playing and loving Alien. Really, kind of like hooked on that game, man. It's really good, especially the David Thiel sound package is awesome. But as a result, I've been doing a bunch of mods to it. It's kind of got me hooked on the mod front. I haven't been doing a lot of mods on my games lately, but Tron is one game that I modded, all the way out, and I'm kind of going that way with Alien too. So one of the first things I did was I got this. Speaking of expensive mods, I got this Lior sculpted Art of Pinball frame for the screen on the playfield. It looks really good. Like, at least, this is one where it looks really good. You're not changing the way the game plays. You're just making it look better. I think that's a good mod in my book. So super happy with that. Yeah, he does really good work. So I did that one. What else did I do? I did so here's a good story. So I ordered this Alien, the Ripley version with the loader battle on it. So this is on the way. And so I ordered this back in like early April, I think. Maybe even been February. But so I ordered the frame and this. And I got the frame and I was like, hey, where's the translate that I ordered? And they're like, oh, it's on the way over, because they were shipping over from Italy, and it'll be here in a week or two. So I was like, all right, cool. So a couple weeks goes by and I don't have it, and so I followed up with them, and they're like, yeah, so we had a big box of these come over with the a number of machines that got shipped over from Italy, and they got lost along the way. So somewhere between Italy and the U.S., there's a box of Alien Ellen Ripley version translates. Just kind of hanging out. Somebody's enjoying that box of translates. So it's going to be even longer for me to wait for those. So that's on the way. I also did, which one? I did the backboard illumination from Measle Mods. So here, the before and after is kind of good. So, it's just a light strip that goes kind of on the back of the little piece of wood that hangs under the back box. Lights up the back of it nicely, which I like. And there's also, I did the fire scoop mod, which is right here. It lights up the scoop and with a flame color, which is cool too. So been doing a bunch of mods on that. What else? I sold my Roadshow, which I hinted at earlier. So Roadshow's out. I wasn't planning on selling it that soon, but I was in the Northeast Pinball thread on Pinside, and somebody was like, hey, anybody got a Roadshow for sale? So I was like, I sent him a message, gave him a price. He said, I'll take it. And our good buddy Rob, shout out, we'll give a plug to Rob of Hall and Oates pinball shipping, Northeast Pinball. If you live in the Northeast U.S., you need a pinball machine shipped, check out Rob. He's got a thread on Pinside. He just bought a brand new van, so he does a great job wrapping it up. And if you used to use Fast Eddie retired. If you're looking for somebody to kind of take his place, Rob's your man. He's in our league, good dude, does a great job wrapping them up and takes care of the machines. And the recipient of Roadshow was happy with the service. So shout out to Rob. It made it super easy. It was perfect. I got the money from the guy that bought the game. Rob came to my house, took it away. It's like one of the easiest pinball sales I've ever had in my life. So highly recommended on that. What else? Oh, I got my Final Resistance back, so I've been playing that a bunch. I had lent that out to one of our league members. We do P3 module swaps occasionally. It's one of the benefits of the machine, and I let him borrow it for a few months. So I've been enjoying that since it's been back. And there's allegedly a code update pending, and I told Nick once that code update drops, we should stream that because we haven't done a bro show on it. We did do the reveal stream, but it'd be cool to get the bros out to play that one. That's a super fun game. And that is it for game room updates for me. Nick, what's up with you?
What is up with me? Indeed, Kevin. All right, I've got some updates. Let's see what I've written down here. So I want to give a shout out to the Wormhole Pinball guys. I was in Houston for work at the end of March, and I had met Tim Hood a year ago and really impressed with what they're doing. Tim Hood's a great guy. He's the owner of Wormhole, and he's got an amazing just pinball collection. I'll talk briefly about. You can go to their social media pages, and then you can see kind of. I think they clipped when I was on there, but the Wormhole space is amazing. Really love what those guys are doing. They were they're fans of Buffalo Pinball, and they were really appreciative of what we've done over the years, which is nice. And I think one of my favorite things in the hobby, and one of the things that doing Buffalo Pinball has allowed us, is that we can travel and we have access to just meeting really other cool people in the space. And those guys, Kevin, are super passionate. I'm saying we should go down there later in the year and play in some of their events when they do the Week of Whoppers. But just really good time. So shout out to Tim Hood and John and Jamie and Donovan and Travis, who I met down there. Saw Matt Quantz, who we knew from Rochester, which was just a surprise. Tim Hood's opening up. I shouldn't say anything. I think this is public or not, but I won't say. I'll be careful. But he just has he's one hell of a collection, so I won't steal any thunder if they haven't said anything. What else? Let's see. I went to Pinbrew.
Yeah.
So Pinbrew was awesome. Just such a good time. I love that show. It's a show that's easily accessible for us. Look forward to it every year. Great tournament. Had a good time playing in that. I finished, I think, third in B, which, for the amount of competitive pinball I play these days, it sounds about right, and I'm happy with that. But great show. Got to play barbecue, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this never-ending show. Got to play Elton John, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. So Keith does an amazing job. God bless him and his family for doing this. Attendance was definitely up. I think the tournament was a well-run tournament, was even better this year. So can't recommend that show enough. Just had a great time. All right, what else we got? I bought a Jaws Premium, which if we had time, we would have done probably a review of Jaws. So probably next month we can review that game. But we'll talk about it in impressions. I'll save it for that. I also recently, so I've been wrestling with some of my games that I've beaten and that are long playing, which are specifically, I've beaten Rush, I've beaten Led Zeppelin. I like both those games. I've really always been partial to Led Zeppelin, as some of you guys are known, frustrated by, because you can't fathom why somebody would be. But it's like, how do you handle a game that you've beaten, and that's also a really long player, where it's like you want to play it and like it, but you just don't have the time to do it, or maybe the motivation to get through it anymore. And what I ended up doing, and this is kind of was prompted, not that this is a genius move, I should have known this, but this was prompted to shout out to Dave Smith from Canada, who listened to our last podcast about me possibly trying to solve Rush and suggesting to me I just open up the outlanes, and he did that and found it way more enjoyable. So I started with Led Zeppelin first because it was easier to move those outlanes without taking apart ramps and stuff. That's the one pain in the ass part of moving outlanes. So I opened it up, and now I've just turned it into this non-long playing game. It's like super aggressive. Shots are still amazing. I ramped up the difficulty on the ball save, ramped up the difficulty on starting multi-balls, ramped up turned down like the ability to get extra balls, and I can now, if I want to play pinball and I don't want to stay there for an hour, I can just go and play that game, and I'm having an absolute blast of it. I think that game is it's super fun. It's maybe even more fun for me now. Just a real kind of, it can be an ass kicker. It can be exciting, and I think the thing with pinball for me is that there's so much content in Pinball Machine these days that they make it kind of like way more forgiving if you miss a shot, way more safe shots. They've got the out lanes closed on a lot of games. There's so much content that you kind of need to do that, and you got to feed the player extra balls. But if you kind of get through the game and beat it, it's over an hour playing some of these games. Like Rush is like over an hour. And what that does, unfortunately, is it makes you kind of play a game in autopilot where you're not like worried about saving a ball. You don't have to do wild save moves. You can kind of play it half asleep. And there's something to be said for that. Every game doesn't need to be your heart rate's pumping and all that, but it can also be boring. So I kind of fixed that on Led Zeppelin. So anybody else who's in that boat, I highly recommend doing that. And I went ahead and posted Rush for sale. It's on Pinside now. I don't know. I might take that down. I'm wrestling with that. I want to change the outlanes on that and see if I can go back to enjoying it and having fun on it. But moving the outlanes on that game is way more of a process. And I hate doing it. I hate tinkering with games. I hate spending my free time doing that when I just want to relax on a weekend and have fun. So I don't know. I'm wrestling with it. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try to keep it, but we'll see. And what else? So I bought a Steam Deck.
Nice.
Got it this week. Love
Are
it.
you liking that?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I was never like in the market for anything like that. I've been traveling more, so I like the idea of getting it. But also like I work from home, so I'm always on this computer, always looking at the screen. And after work, I don't want to look at the screen anymore and play video games. So I can go over to the couch and play Steam games on it. It's like basically a PC, like laptop. Yeah. So cool. Highly recommend it. Steam games are always on sale and cheap. So yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. I can give an update on the co-op.
Yep.
Right now, it looks like we're on track to maybe getting that open the end of fall. So major shout out to Matthew Taylor. Without him, this would not be possible. He's doing all the heavy lifting because he bought the building. He's going to be our landlord. So the walls are up and framed. I see he's got a toilet installed now, which is
Huge milestone.
Got electricity up. We're kind of planning where everything's going to go. I'm pumped, man. We're gonna be so back. We're gonna be so back when that happens. Like Buffalo Pinball has been like one step back, two step forward. So I cannot wait for 2025. We'll be coming hot out of the gate, baby. And then what else? I think that's it. That's a lot of updates. A lot of time has passed.
Yeah, we did a lot. Let's do some rapid fire first impressions of some of these new games we got to play. So why don't we kick it off with Jaws? That's the one we've played the most, I think, between the two of us. I got some pictures here that we can show while we talk about it. But as the owner of the game, why don't you take the lead on this one? Quick first impressions.
All I can say about Jaws is that I never seen the movie. The theme did nothing for me. I actually don't own any Keith Elwin games. I like his games. I respect the hell out of them. They're good. They're fun and all. No, that's a lie. I have Godzilla.
Yeah.
But I don't love Godzilla in the way that other people love it, even though I gave it a good review because of some of the parts. I mean, the individual parts of that game are all great, but emotionally, I'm not as like loving it as other people do. That's all I'll say. So yeah, I remember I watched the gameplay video. I probably turned it off after 5 or 10 minutes. The game just did nothing for me. Did not have it on my radar. Went to Pin Brew. They had a ton of pros and premium setup, which was great. Played the pro. Loved it. I was like, oh my God, maybe I'll just pick up this pro. Maybe I'll get that. Played the premium a little bit more. And like the more I played it, the more I liked the game. And I was really wrestling whether to, save money, get the pro or get the premium. But I ended up liking the game so much that I went with my default. If I like the game so much, I think it's a great game, then I'm going to want, the full version of it. So like a day, I was down at Pinburg for a few days. The next day I messaged Zach flipping out. And I was like, I've got to get a Jaws premium. So I have it, love it. It's my favorite Elwin game. And to me, what I found happening at Pinbrew is that it just had that one more game feel, and I don't get that with every pinball machine. So yeah, it's just super. It was taken by surprise. I think it's just a ton of fun. The code is like impressively. There's a lot to it right now. Good code, and it looks like they're still early on. I don't even know if it's like 0.9 yet. I don't think so. So, be interesting to see what else they add. But I think this is his best game. I like it much better than Godzilla. I don't know. It's really fun. I had a blast when we had our bro show the other week and you guys came over. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like this game a lot too. Kind of surprised me. I mean, it shouldn't, right? Because it's like trusting Keith. Keith has a great track record. Amazing player, amazing designer. He puts together interesting rule sets with layouts that do interesting things. I'll kind of like checking all the boxes. This is his first machine with an upper playfield, but it's not an upper playfield where you just Black Knight it and put it up there and play safely for an hour. You get it up there, you get a shot or two off maybe, and then you're back on the main playfield. You're back to it. So lots of great, smooth, flowing shots. You got, if you haven't ruined your game by adding a ball-eating shark mod, it's got the dangerous boat on there to keep things interesting. I really like the cross playfield shot with the mini flipper and the little
I love it.
The flip trap design is neat. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. Super fun game, highly recommended. And it's funny looking at these pictures too, seeing like all the blood and guts all over this game. And then you've got John Wick where they're like, well, that licensor wouldn't let us put guns on it.
So
but
stupid.
it's okay if sharks are killing people. That's fine. We can put that all over the pinball machine, but not guns on a John Wick. I don't know. It's so weird.
I'll just say the one frustrating negative thing about this game, then you can see me losing my mind on the stream, is the chum line plastic. So there's a design flaw in that. The plastic bends when the ball rolls over it, and then it gets like it kind of skips and hops over it, and the ball turns airborne. You get air balls on that game.
There it is.
Which, it sucks because then you're missing out on an important shot in the game, but you're also potentially breaking plastics. So what's really frustrating to me is, this is an April build of the game. The game was out in January. Stern, there's no way that when they were making this game, there's no way that Stern did not know this because everybody's having this issue to various degrees. And then Stern's just like, you know what, we're going to ship it like this and pass along the problem to our customers, which is really, it's really shitty and disappointing. It's too bad that that's their attitude because there's somebody at Stern at some point that just said, ship it like that.
Yep.
And that's not being customers. I know Stern does a lot of good things and we always acknowledge it, but come on, guys, that's really bad. So what you end up having to do is I had to go out and buy, somebody had to create a mod, of course. These are the good mods. Somebody created a chum line suppressor, so I had to buy that. That's $20. And then, I put it in there, but I also wrestled with getting the plastic perfectly level, which was annoying, and I struggle to do it more so than most probably the average person does because it's me, and I don't know. Sometimes I struggle with things, guys. I don't know, the physical realities of life, right? And then you still maybe like that solves maybe 95% of the air balls, and there's still a little bit of it. And then Chrome Candy makes another kind of like plastic on top, so you can like it would deflect an air ball. I picked up that too, so I'm already like $40 into the game to fix a problem that Stern decided to pass along to its customers. So really shitty, Stern. You guys should do better. It's too bad. I just want to buy a game, Kevin. This is and just not have to spend all this time fighting it or feeling frustrated. That's all.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all.
Someday it'll happen. I don't know when, but someday your dream will come true. But yeah, fun game. Check it out. Buy it if you really like it. They got all the... Go ahead.
Pinball says, is it surprising? No, it's not surprising at all to me.
They got a ton of assets in it, so lots of movie clips. So if you're a fan of the movie, I think you're going to like everything that's in there. They don't have the one guy on the playfield, which is weird, but he's also in the clips. So, again, back to weird licensing things. You got two of the three main characters on the playfield, but all three of them are in the movie clips on the back. So, I don't know. Licensing, bro.
Oh, yeah. And as Wildcat points out, the coil stops. So, Stern has had bad coil stops for like more than 10 years now, and they continue not to give a shit about fixing it. So, I actually I ordered like $40 worth of coil stops the other day just to start replacing them on my games that are broken. Like, just come on. You guys can't, like, George can't go on. I mean, I love George Gomez. You can't go on and like, you're always the good guy when somebody is allowing that to happen and not correcting it. Like, you're not perfect. Like, there's things that need to be addressed. So, and you guys deserve some criticism. And that's something that can be, you can't say the licensor did this. Like, you guys are doing this. You're not caring. So please fix that.
Fix it. All right. You got to play Labyrinth, right?
Yeah, the Wormhole had it. I played it a few times. I mean, it did nothing for me. I don't know. Sometimes like you step up at the game and sometimes you're surprised, like Jaws, where it wasn't on my radar and you just love it and you hit the start button. And then sometimes you step up a game and this game never appealed to me, and playing it a couple times didn't change that.
Yeah, I got to play
it. It didn't feel great. Like the flippers aren't strong and snappy. And I don't know what the playfield is made out of, but it's got a weird sheen to it or something. Like, I don't know. Or the lights on it. It just doesn't do anything for me at all. So
that's funny.
That's my hot take.
Yeah, I went out to James's house and played it last night. So, and I had the total opposite reaction. I had no expectations for this. I don't know if I had ever seen the movie growing up, but I watched it when they announced the game, and I was like, oh, that was a pretty fun movie, whatever. But I was kind of skeptical given the history of new manufacturers, and it's on the Fast platform, which I don't have a lot. I think it's on Fast, which I don't have a lot of experience with, so I wasn't sure how I was going to play or feel. And man, I was really surprised by this game. I didn't expect it to like kind of like divert and trap the ball as much as it does. The ramps felt really good. The caveat to all of this is that I played James's, which he spent a bunch of time fixing and dialing in and making it play really nice. Because apparently the upper flipper loop is quite difficult to make out of the box, and his is really nice and smooth. I felt the kind of like quote unquote world under glass effect of it was really good. He said, the owner of Barrels of Fun, this was his dream theme, and I think that comes across. There's a lot of detail in there that, if you're intricate knowledge of this movie, you would put all of these things in there, right? So I don't know, and I also had the benefit of James kind of walking me through what I needed to do and what the rules were, and he was explaining things, and I kind of loved it. I gotta say, I was very surprised. So you got two differing opinions on this one. I would be curious, and the flippers, I expected the flippers to be weak and crappy based on what I've seen on the streams, and they were strong, and I was comboing the ramps. I got like a 5-way combo, and I was like, well, this game feels good. So I don't know, we'll have to get you out there to play James's and see what you think of his.
Sure. Yeah. I'm look, like that's I always say it's like it's an initial impression, right?
Yeah.
And I don't like the theme of the game. Like, I've never seen the movie, but I don't like Muppets and stuff, and like it's just too.
Fair.
It's just I don't like most '80s things.
Yeah,
I'm a child of the '80s. I don't know, so it doesn't make me want to try to like it.
Yeah,
but,
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
All
right, but here's what everybody's waiting for.
Yeah.
You don't have any impressions. I mean, there's all Elton John, but let's get to
barbecue.
Barrio's
Okay.
Barrio's barbecue challenge: hot sauce and hot wings, or hot rods. Hot sauce and hot
yeah.
rods. By the way, I talked before how most themes don't ever appeal to me. If I was like a billionaire, and maybe just 100 million, a cool 100 million, the game I would make, and this makes me think of, is instead of Barrio's barbecue challenge. And this is not for commercial appeal, although I could sell more games than this theme did. I want a Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. You know what that? Have you seen that show?
No.
Oh my God!
I like the name.
Watch The Righteous Gemstones, but
Okay.
Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. I fucking love Walton Goggins. He's like, do you know who that guy is?
Nope.
That actor?
Nope.
I fucking love that guy, man. I guess if people are, I haven't seen it, but if people are watching Fallout, he's the guy with no nose in that. He's a great actor, man. He's hilarious. That's the game I want.
But this is the game we got.
This is the game we got. Barrio's barbecue bullshit. So listen, at the end of the day, no matter these bizarre decisions in terms of theme and the bad LCD that we can see, the question is this game fun to shoot? Is it fun to just play the game? Are there, there's something to it that there is fun to be had, even though the theme and everything else and the price point, I wouldn't buy this over a Jaws Pro, which is the same price. And there were two games at Pinbrew. They were on opposite walls, so in different power banks. And I cannot tell you, Kevin, the flippers on both games that I played were so weak. Like, it was just so hard to make shots, and you had to like mentally try to compute where to then hit on the flippers, and you were getting rejects from the ramp. and then you're just wondering why the hell they put a spinner on the ramp. Like, it is so bad. I couldn't even get to like what makes the game bad in other ways when it's a non-starter when you can't even get the flippers correctly. These are on 2 games. They're set up by people trying to sell these games, and it played piss poor. I mean, just absolute terrible flippers. It's so baffling, man. Like, these guys, AP has been making games since what, 2015?
Yeah. When did Houdini come out? I'll look it up.
Like, you know, I posted about, I gave a feedback and review on the game in my impressions in the Pinside's forum, and, you know, Lloyd LTG was just like, oh, you can turn up the flipper strength in the menu. It's like, what game have you bought, Kevin, from Stern or even JJP where people complain about the flippers? That's the first thing you have to do to make shots. And like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That is the remedy. There's something fundamentally wrong. And as you pointed out too, Kevin, they were bragging about how they made their own board. You know, they went from the P3 board. So they're using their own board allegedly on this game, and it's like worse than other games that they had in there. So they now have a downgrade.
Yeah, this is their big debut of their new board set. And why wouldn't you make the default higher? If like, you know, just update the code and make that the default, the higher flipper power. And if people want to lower it, they can. But if like the universal feedback that you're getting is that the flippers are too weak and it can be solved by increasing the flipper power in the settings, why wouldn't you just do that by default? I don't know. Especially when you're coming out with this machine that it has its original theme, has all of these barriers of entry already that people are skeptical about. You're gonna hit them with some weak flippers too.
So I can't even tell you what's like how the game shoots, other than I couldn't, right? Like it's walk away from the game kind of terrible, right? I finished the game out, and I've played several games. I tried different ones. The other one that was there, same thing. So I don't get it. It's just really, really confusing how they can't get it. I'm at a loss for words of just how bad this thing is. And other people were saying that they've played this on other locations, other shows, and they've had the same experience. So this is not just these 2 games at this show. And there's not another game at the show that had weak flippers except for the AP games, by the way. Even GTF, the flippers felt maybe a little bit better, but still like weak. But like the better than that. And they were using obviously the old P3 board. So better than that, still weak compared to like JGP or Stern. So weird, man. I can't say anything else about this. This is just this game is complete fucking trash. And it's so weird that some people on the forum will be like, "Oh, I played the game and the flippers were great." It's like, well, what accounts for this variance? Like, I don't get it. Are they cranking it up? Are some games shipping? I digress. Let's move on. This game is just worse than I even thought somehow.
All right, we got one more for hot first impressions, and then we're gonna do a giveaway. So if you haven't, #win in chat to get you in. We got 3 giveaways. 2 from Flipping Out Pinball, a Jaws banner and a Stern glass cover, and a set of Pin Stadium Neo Atoms from Pin Stadium. Nearly $400 value there. So
We're gonna do
#win in
Elton
chat.
John impression, right?
Yeah, we're going to do Elton John. After we do Elton John impression, we'll give away stuff. But
All right.
it's only if you're in the Twitch chat. You got to be in the Twitch chat to win. So because that's where our robot works.
We've both played this game, so why don't you start with your impressions?
Dude, this game crushes. I love this game. I played it again yesterday, and I had 0 expectations for this game. Like, the theme was whatever. I'm like, you know, I was interested to see what Steve Ritchie would do when he came to JJP, just because, you know, new designer at, you know, experienced designer at a new company. Let's see what he does over there. And man, it just the shots flow great. It's might be my favorite Steve Ritchie layout. Before this, it was probably Spider-Man, which this is. You are not going to be surprised at all by this layout. It is very Steve Ritchie, but I think it nails it in a way that his other games, it's like takes it to the next level. Every shot is super smooth. The total experience is there. Like, it just makes you feel like you're crushing it when you're playing it. It's like a really good fun game. So really surprised me. Really happy with getting some time on this game.
Yeah. it seems that people are coming around to this game after they've gotten to play it. I asked Zach from Flipping Out. He's like, yeah, sales have definitely picked up recently for it. And if you go to the owners thread forum, of course, most owner threads are like this, but people are actually going bananas about how great this game is. And I played it at Pin Brew, and as many people are saying, and I agree, this is the best in terms of this moment in time, the best presentation in pinball. By presentation, that means the audio, video, and lighting and all that stuff. It's just very, 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 very impressive. If you just want a pinball machine that just will wow people, this is it. This is the state of the art definitive pinball machine to impress. It is always tough, Kevin. I remember when I got Jaws, prior to that, I was playing a lot of Godfather because I was thinking that we would review that for the podcast. To go from a JJP game that just came out to a Stern game that just came out, it's a little rough.
Yeah, there's a disparity there for sure.
There's a disparity there, and you adjust pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But man, JJP and their presentation, there's something to be said. So hopefully Stern's new Spike can catch up to where they're at. But yeah, I mean, I can see why people love this game. My only, I kind of wanted this game too. I didn't walk away wanting to buy. I wanted after playing both of them. Obviously, I chose Jaws, but I was trying to get Martha to buy it for a little while. I told Martha this is a good Martha game. I'm afraid it might be a little bit of a baby game. I can't tell. It might be like too easy. I might be able to blow through it. Of course, I can move the out lanes, but yeah, it's definitely a game I want to play more. I think this is definitely a hit for Jersey Jack. Again, the pinball market is not in a great place in terms of where it was a couple years ago. $12,500 is a steep price point, but they crushed it, man. They definitely crushed it.
Yeah, if this was a theme that I loved, I would probably own one already. But for that amount of money, like you got to nail it on all the fronts. And I'm hoping if the rumors of the Matrix are true, that'll be the one that does it for me next. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. So Den of Pin says you will beat it in the first couple of weeks, Nick. I agree. I got that impression. I was setting the GC on that game and was getting over like 200 after about my second game. I guess 200 million at the time was probably pretty good. And they said it's more for casuals, and I get that as well. I think this is a great game for maybe not really experienced pinball players, really not hardcore. And maybe it is for experienced too. I look for them to chime in, but great game for casuals, a great huge win. I could see this game doing very well for JJP.
Yeah, it's a great game if you just want to step up and flip and have a good time. This is that game for sure. All right, I think we did it. We got to the end. No review this month because we had so much news. Some hot first impressions for you, and let's go ahead and pull a winner. So if you haven't yet, we will do the Pin Stadiums last, and we're going to start with the we'll start with the Stern Matt from Flipping Out Pinball. Hashtag win in chat. You can still get in if you're in the Twitch chat. Hashtag win will get you in on there. A reminder, if you're a sub, you get 2x the entries. So thank you very much for everybody who subscribes. And all right, let's go ahead and draw our first winner for the Stern glass cover. Bloody Cactus. Bloody Cactus, are you here and do you accept? I recognize that name. He's around quite a bit, so I imagine he's here. Yep. Sweet. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll give you I should have announced that in chat. There you go. Boom. You've won, and he accepts. And I will private message you on Twitch to get your information to get to the to our partners. All right, so next will be the Jaws banner from Flipping Out Pinball. Here we go. For the Jaws banner, Kyle Bassa. I know he's around. He's going to want that. Jaws banner for Kyle. Congratulations to Kyle. I'm going to go ahead and say he's accepting that. Yep, sweet. There he is. Okay. And last but not least, the $400 value Pin Stadium Neo Adams. I'll go to pinstadium.com to get those. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Drawing. It's Rebel Guitars. Rebel Guitars. Congratulations. There you go. You got yourself a set of Pin Stadiums. Thank you to everybody who entered, who watches, and enjoys the show. I will follow up with all of you to get those to you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and listen, if you take a second if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Obviously, these things, Kevin and I are now aggressive about asking for this, but these things matter to help promote the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to support what we do every month, obviously there's work that goes into this. We give our heart and soul. You can subscribe to Twitch, or you can just donate directly to us via PayPal at buffalopinball@gmail.com. We'll get 100% of the proceeds that way. So thank you. I mean, there's several ways to thank us if you appreciate what we're doing. We appreciate all of you guys in the chat. I'm always trying to read the chat and also do a show. I love this format because you guys get to participate as well in it. We'll try to do a show in June, which I know that people have been asking for a review of pinball machines. Like I said, we've got, I think I could do a great review of Jaws. Kevin and I can both do a really good review of Godfather. And then, there's more games we're gonna try to stream. That's a little harder, but we really want to try to, we're trying to balance work life. We're both busier, but we're gonna keep the train going, right? This is we're getting close to 10 years of streaming for Buffalo Pinball, and I love the podcast more than anything else, man. I'm here's to 10 more years, but thanks everybody for listening.
Yep. Yeah, don't forget to follow us on all your social media channels. You can review us on your podcast platform of choice. And don't go away, because we do have a brand new episode of Topper Talk, episode 23 coming up next. He's going to talk about the $2,000 Foo Fighters topper. I left it out of our rundown because I knew Goran was digging into that. So if you want to drop $2,000 on a topper, Stern has got you covered. Until next time, we will see you. I'll stream here and there occasionally. So hit those follow buttons and have your notifications on. And when we go live, you'll be there. So have a good one and enjoy this episode of Topper Talk. We'll see you guys next time.
It's Topper Talk with Goran right now. Let's all have some fun. This is about plastic on top of your pin. Go and buy one now. There's a topper here and a topper there. Here a topper, there a topper, everywhere a topper. It's critical to the gameplay experience. You must buy one now. It's your monthly fill of toppers right now. Topper Talk with Goran. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Topper Talk with Goran, the part of the podcast where Kevin and Nick give me about 3 to 5 minutes to talk about everything happening in the very active and profitable Topper community. Now for today's episode, we'll be talking about the Foo Fighters topper from Stern Pinball. So let's head into the office and talk about that now. Okay, so here we are in the office, so let's dive right into the Foo Fighters Foobot Pinball Topper from Stern Pinball. So here it is on the left-hand side of the screen. It's a really neat-looking topper. You have the Foobot in the middle, surrounded by the band members and kind of that proscenium stage. Foobot is a 3-dimensional piece, but the rest of the topper is flat plastic. I've seen it in person. It looks really cool. The plastics are staggered in a way to where it does look 3-dimensional, but the coolest feature is Foobot. He moves left to right, follows that action in the game, which is super neat. The topper has fully integrated RGBs, which is nice as well, that interact with gameplay, so that creates a really neat effect. A lot of people were comparing this topper to the Black Knight topper, which is a bit cheaper than this topper, actually. And it is similar to the Black Knight topper, although I wish it had forward and back movement to simulate talking, like the Black Knight topper does. The topper is $1,999.99, which I will say is on the top end of Stern Pinball topper pricing. It's quite expensive. It does look nice on the game, but it is an expensive accessory. There's some additional interactivity as well with game progress. The different band members will light up as you collect them throughout the game and get closer to a multi-ball. We can see some footage of the topper there. There it is, kind of close up. And it does look really great up there, especially with the RGB lighting. It also does have custom callouts as well, which is a really nice perk, getting that bonus content as well, especially with the price that you pay for it. It's interesting that it's marked as coming soon. I thought it was already for sale. I saw one in person at Allentown Pinfest, so I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, overall, really neat topper, expensive price, but does look great.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Topper Talk with Goran. Tune in to the next podcast for another episode, and as always, get out there and buy a topper. Thank you for coming to my Topper Talk.